subscribe. Subscribe to my guy, Uncle D. Tell him Big Bass sent you.
Dennis Spurling. I'm an attorney here in Houston, Texas. An advocate for black men, largely because I am a black man. I'm a black father. I have black sons. Hey, man, I do what I do.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the broadcast. Shout out to Mr. 43TX. He's the first person in. Shout out to Understanding 15K. I would like to thank everybody for the time they spent here with me on a daily basis. And as you guys know, my name is Dennis Spurling, and this is the Dennis Spurling podcast. And I'd like to welcome you all to the broadcast. Now, if we can just get straight to it, today, somebody typed today in the chat room, today we are going to have a conversation on not necessarily sports, but politics mixing with sports. And here's the thing. The NAACP wants to boycott college sports programs in response to the political battle between the Republicans and the Democrats because black voting districts down south are being cracked apart. Okay. They call it out of bounds campaign. And the NAACP is specifically calling on black athletes, recruits, families, fans, alumni, donors, and consumers, okay, to withhold their support for major public university athletic programs in, here you go, Tennessee, Louisiana, Alabama, Florida, Mississippi, South Carolina, Texas, and Georgia. They're asking black high school athletes not to commit to those schools. They're asking current athletes to get political and speak up to apply pressure and think about if they should keep playing for those schools in states that are, as they say, weakening black political power. Okay, they're asking black families not to send their children based on politics. That's what they're doing. And they're asking black fans not to buy tickets, merchandise, subscriptions, or spend money supporting the athletic department. They probably don't even want you watching any bowl games with the SEC. None of that. Okay. They're asking black alumni, okay, donors to stop writing checks, stop donating, stop funding the schools that benefit from black athletic talent, while their state Republican governments undermine black voting representation. They want to use the economic and entertainment power of young black athletes and black consumer dollars as leverage. Now, the NAACP's position is that these universities can't keep recruiting black athletes, profiting from black bodies, depending on black fans, and benefiting from black culture while staying silent as their states weaken black voting rights. Now, here's the thing, the NAACP, okay, it stands for the National, and I want you to all to listen very carefully, okay, the National Association for the Advancement of what? Colored people. Somebody type colored people in the chat room. Everybody watching on the rebroadcast that didn't want to stay up and listen to me, type colored people in the chat room. Type colored people in the comments section, okay? That way I know you're listening, okay? And now, it was founded in 1909 in New York City after a violent racism and lynching Jim Crow laws. And here's the thing, the 1908 Springfield race riot pushed a multi-racial group of activists to organize. Now, it's always associated with black people, but its founders, people like W.B. Du Bois, Ida B. Wells, Mary Church Terrell, Archibald Grimmick, they were black civil rights leaders. in the early NAACP. Now, Grimmick was mixed race. His mother was an enslaved black woman, and his father was a white man, but he lived and worked as a black leader. While Henry Moskowitz was a Jewish reformer, William English Walling was a white socialist and journalist, and Mary White Ovington was a white social reformer, okay? So as you see, the NAACP wasn't founded only by black people, but by a multiracial group of colored people, okay? By type colored people, not black people, which includes some black leaders and some white Jewish allies, which makes it fair to ask why today the sacrifice is being aimed so directly at black athletes, not colored athletes, black, okay? Black families, black fans, not colored fans, okay? Not colored donors, okay? Instead, they're not asking the coalition of colored people and the people of color. I don't know if those are the same, but they sound similar, okay? These organizations, look, the organization's name history claim to represent. That's not who they're asking. NAACP does not stand for the National Association for the Advancement of Black People. It doesn't stand for the National Association for the Advancement of Black Athletes. It doesn't stand for the National Association for the Advancement of Black Football Players. It doesn't stand for the National Association for the Advancement of Black Men who play sports or badminton. Somebody type badminton in the chat room. It stands for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. So when they ask black people, specifically black athletes and black families, to make a sacrifice, the obvious question to me is where's the rest of the colored folk? Where are they? Where are the rest of the people of color? Where y'all at? Where are the Samoans? I want all the Samoans to raise your hand. Why? Where are you? Because y'all play football too in the SEC and the Power Five. Where are they? Got some Latinos out there. Where are you? See? Because see, if it's part of a broader equality movement, then why is the burden of this boycott being placed so directly on black people, especially black athletes? The NAACP is well funded through memberships and donations and corporate support and related nonprofit structures. They got, look, in 2020, the NAACP got almost $5 million from membership. It got $21 million from corporations. Okay, almost $2.5 million from just regular folks. It got $1 million from other organizations, and almost $1.5 million from freedom funds, as they call them. So this isn't a small backyard movement with no resources. This is an established national organization with corporate donors. Now, with all that in mind, let's come back to the protest itself. The protest is aimed at using the power of black athletes, black consumer dollars, as leverage. The NAACP's position is that the universities in these southern states can't keep profiting from black bodies and benefiting from black culture and then stay silent as their states strip away voting rights, quote unquote. But here's the problem. Somebody type the problem in the chat room. Come on. Somebody type the problem in the chat. You're going to learn something today. I'm going to open your eyes tonight. I'm going to tell you guys something you probably already know, but you're going to say, oh, wow. Somebody type the problem. See? And I want people to hear at the very beginning of the broadcast, the NAACP's own name says colored people. Its own history talks about civil rights for all people of color. Its funds includes memberships, individual organizations, corporations, and institutional support. But when it comes time to make the sacrifice, the ask is aimed specifically at black athletes, specifically at black families, at black fans, black alumni, and black donors. So before black people fall in the line and do this is what we're told, fall in line and do what you're told. Okay, before you do that, we need to ask, if this is a broad civil rights fight, why is the sacrifice so narrowly placed on black people? And if the campaign wants black athletes and black dollars and black fans and black cultural power to pressure these states, then black people have every right to ask, what's the plan? You know, who else is sacrificing? And what black families are supposed to get in return for the sacrifice? Because as I recall, they had black fatigue, and now they want black people. Okay, I'm just saying, I'm trying to reconcile this. Now, here's the part that I really want you all to pay attention to. I want you to listen to me closely. Now, when they say black families and black athletes, we need to have an honest conversation about who they're really talking to. See, they're talking to young black men, okay? Or they're talking about young black men. They're talking about the same young black men who spent their childhoods running sprints, lifting weights, going to camp, playing through injuries, training when they didn't feel like training, and fighting for one of the few legal paths in this country that can take them from being a poor black boy and turn them into a millionaire before they turn 25 years old. They're asking 18, 19, 20-year-old black men to put their futures on the line for a political protest. They aren't asking middle-aged political consultants. These aren't tenured professors. These aren't elected officials with pensions, donors, staff, and legal teams. These are young black men with one athletic body, one short college window, one real chance to turn talent into life-changing money. And the numbers prove that this isn't just some general conversation about all athletes. A Power 5 school. Black men make up 2.4% of the undergraduate student population. So out of 100 students, you only have 2.5 black boys. But they made up 55% of the football team, 56% of the basketball team. So when you talk about boycotting the SEC and the ACC and the major public university athletes programs, you're not mainly talking about women's basketball. You damn sure not talking about golf and tennis and swimming or volleyball. You're talking about football and men's basketball, and those teams are disproportionately powered by young black men. And let's even be more direct. Listen, see, those are the money sports. Football is the engine, and basketball is second in line. Women's basketball is growing, and nobody should deny that women's basketball is, popular to some people. But it's certainly not what built the billion-dollar college athletic machine. The financial structure still proves that. The NAACP Division I 2024 revenue, the distribution plan listed a basketball performance fund at $171 million. It tied men's basketball performance. Okay, while the women's basketball tournament only received this, it got about 15 million. Okay. And that tells you the money system has historically been built around men's basketball, not women's basketball. And football is even bigger than that. Reporting on college athletic revenue shows that football is the breadwinner, with Texas reported making $182 million in football. That's one state, $182 million in one recent year, while the top grossing men's basketball program is around $38 million. And the men's football alone can bring in more money than an entire athletic department at most schools. So here's the thing. USA Today said the NCAA finance database also showed that the top athletic departments generating enormous total revenue. You had places like Ohio State at $250 million. So when the NAACP targets these major Southern public universities, your Alabamas, your LSUs, your Floridas, your Arkansas, Mississippi. That's real pressure. That's a pressure point. Football is a pressure point, and so is basketball. But these are also sports where young black men are most concentrated. And that's why this boycott has to be called what it is. The NAACP's Out of Bounds campaign says it's calling for black athletes and families and alumni and fans to withhold athletic and financial support from public universities in southern states. But in real life, the pressure is falling hardest on young black male football and basketball players because those are the athletes who generate the most leverage. Now, if black athletes participate in the boycott, it could deplete the rosters for powerhouse football and basketball programs across the SEC, the ACC, and the reality that, you're asking a teenager to factor politics into a decision that could produce life-altering financial windfall before he's even old enough to vote. And that could be difficult, you see? And that's the point. You're asking young black men, many of whom are teenagers, to risk the very programs that give them the best exposure, the best NIL opportunities, the best facilities, the best scouts, the best television coverage, and the best shot at professional money. So let's stop hiding behind the soft language. See, this is not about black athletes as some broad neutral category. This is about young black men in football and basketball programs. This is about young black men being asked to give up the most valuable seats in the college sports economy. These are young men being asked to risk NIL money, draft position, national exposure, and professional opportunity. They're being asked to do it for a political fight over redistricting and representation, while the people asking them to sacrifice are not even offering them any equal replacement for what they could lose. And that's why black men have every right to ask, what are we getting out of this? Because if our bodies, our talent, our labor, and our discipline are that powerful, if it's that powerful enough to threaten the revenue of these schools and the states, then our futures are valuable enough that nobody should be asking us to gamble them away for slogans. And that's why I feel so familiar. Because here again, you have a large political institution that's looking at young black male bodies as tools to be sacrificed for somebody else's political monetary objective. The SEC and the big universities, we criticize them for profiting off black male athletic labor. But at least in that system, the young black male athlete can receive something directly right now. He can receive a scholarship. He can receive national exposure. He can get an education. He can get an NIL deal. He can get build a brand. He gets access to elite coaching, good food. Shout out to Kareem Sharif. He gets the best facilities, the best medical support. He gets the best scouts, and he gets a professional pipeline to sports. And since the NIL rules changed, a young black man can go to college as an athlete and earn millions from his name and image and likeness. And see, this is not a simple good versus evil situation, family. What we're really looking at is two powerful systems trying to control the same young black male athlete. One system is the major college sports machine. The other system now is saying, don't use your talent over there. Use your sacrifice over here. And the difference is that the first system is flawed, as it is, can still give that athlete money, education, exposure, and a path to a job that can pay him millions of dollars. The second system is asking him to give up leverage for a political result that will never benefit his household specifically. And that's not empowerment. That's asking young black men to become pawns in somebody else's chess and political game. Listen to me. And before anybody asks black men to sacrifice again, we need to talk about the condition of black men in this country. Black wealth is nowhere near where it should be. And the typical black family has $16 in wealth for every $100 held by a typical white family. And that was in 2022. And the median black wealth is about $44,890. That's the average. That's 2022. Compare that to $285,000 for white households. And look, check this out. $536,000 for Asian American households. So when a young black male athlete has a chance to use sports to create wealth, that's not just a sports decision. It's the only realistic wealth building windows his family probably has ever had. Look, are you listening to me? You are asking black people, I want you to think about this. Black people have a life expectancy of 74 years, and that's lower than white people. White people are about 79 years, specifically 78.4. Hispanic people are 81.3 years. Asians are 85.2 years. And when you break it down by sex and you separate the black men from the black women, a black male has a life expectancy of 70 years old, and that's as of 23. So black men already living under the weight of shorter lives and worse health conditions and higher exposure to early death. And now you asking them to risk their athletic future? That's what you asking them to do? Now here's where the hypocrisy gets loud. It gets real loud. Black males ages 15 to 34 are constantly talked about as violent. We the violent group, the dangerous group. But the same age range is also the range of athletes that these organizations now want to mobilize for their political fight. There's a study by Johns Hopkins. It reported that black males ages 15 to 34 accounted for 34% of the unalived, the gun homicides in 2022, while only representing 2% of the total U.S. population. That's the highest homicide rate. Let me say it like this. The highest homicide rates were among black males between age 15 and 24, and then 25 and 44. So if these young black men are so important to the NAACP and the Democrat Party and these big college sports programs, that they can be used to pressure universities and conferences and state governments, then why aren't they treated with that same level of urgency when they're being killed? Let's look at, what about the sentencing report? The Sentencing Project reported that imprisonment for black men has fallen by nearly 50% since 2000. That's great. That's outstanding. Wonderful. And then and when you add the wrongful convictions to the conversation, the picture gets even worse. Black people are about 7.5 times more likely than white people to be wrongly convicted of murder. And black people are more like, black people are about 13% of the population. And they made up 53% of the exonerations. That's 3,200 as of August 2022. So again, we're talking about a group of men who are already carrying the same, some of the heaviest burdens in America. And then after all that, they still want talented black men to give up more and sacrifice more and stand in the gap. Think about that. Have y'all thought about that? Think about that. And it's not new. Are y'all learning something? Are you all learning something? I need to know that you're learning something. If you learn something, hit the #1 button. If you're learning something, say, we're learning. I need to know. Somebody say, hell yeah. That's right. Hell yeah. You got to understand something. Black men have been placed on the front lines of American labor, American war, American punishment, American profit for centuries. During the transatlantic slave trade, nearly 13 million African people were kidnapped and trafficked across the Atlantic. And historical records show that the trade heavily targeted male labor. Shout out to Steel Wings. One Cambridge University Press chapter said that on the captives from West Central Africa, they found that 69%, that's over 2/3 of the enslaved people embarked in the trade were men, were male. Boys, children, men, adults. Think about that. I'm not saying black women weren't captured and enslaved, but it does mean that historical record supports the point that black male labor and black male bodies were central to the system from the beginning. And the same shows up in war. The selective service. That's the draft. Somebody type the draft in the chat room. Somebody type the draft in the chat room. $2.8 million men were inducted during World War II. More than 10 million during World War, 2.8 million were inducted during World War I. 10.1 million were inducted in World War II. You see? 1.5 million during Korea. You understand? More than 1.8 million during Vietnam. And those drafts were drafts of men. Those drafts were black men were part of the burden. We bore that burden. And the thing is, in Vietnam specifically, Black Americans were only about 11% of the population. And that means about 5.5% of the population of Black males in 1967. But they were 16.3% of the draftees and 23% of the combat troops, according to the reports at the time. So not only did they get drafted, not only did we get drafted, but they put us on the front lines. You see what I'm saying? Front lines. So when people talk about sacrifice in America, they need to acknowledge that Black men we've already paid the price in labor and blood and imprisonment and war and poverty and early death. You understand what I'm saying? So here's the thing. When the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, comes forward and asks for this boycott, the question is fair. Why is the burden being placed so directly on Black men? Why is the first ask for sacrifice demanded of young Black male athletes who have the most to lose and the least institutional protection and nothing tangible to gain? If Black men are powerful enough to help overturn a Supreme Court decision, if Black male athletes are powerful enough to pressure Southern states, if Black male bodies are powerful enough to threaten the revenue of major athletic programs, then why aren't Black men treated with the same level of respect every day? Black men treated, look, why are we useful when the movement needs leverage, but disposable when we need protection? Why are we called dangerous when we're in the street, but heroic when somebody needs us on the front line of a boycott? Why are we blamed when society wants villains, but summoned when society needs sacrifice? Somebody answer me that. So no, you don't get to shame Black men into this. You don't get to tell young Black men to turn down the best opportunities available to them while offering slogans in return. You don't get to ask them to risk NIL money and scholarships and education and exposure and draft position and professional contracts and advertising money and generational wealth so that some politician can keep their job and their kickbacks and their stock options. If Black men are going to be asked to carry the burden, then Black men have a right to ask, what tangible are we going to get out of it? What protections are being guaranteed? What money is being placed on the table in exchange? What infrastructure is being built specifically for young Black men? What legal financial support is being promised specifically for young Black men? And if there's no real answer, then the answer from Black men should be as clear. We've sacrificed enough. Now, I need you all to make sure you hit the subscribe button. We are going to we got a lot of trolls in here, so I'm gonna go ahead and get these trolls. You trolls are about to pay. They got a new feature on YouTube. I'm gonna show y'all in a minute. But what we're gonna do right now is we are going to we're going to make sure we hit the number 1 button. We're going to take a few breaks You guys make sure you subscribe to the channel if you hadn't already. Make sure you subscribe. And I will be right back shortly. I got another part for you. I want you guys to check this out. Y'all hit the #1 button. I'll be right back. Shout out to everybody who's contributed to Super Chat. I'm glad 15 people learned something. I wish more people had learned something, but we're not finished, but maybe some of you all will learn something. But again, I appreciate you guys. But before we get to this superstar, I need you all to make sure you hit the subscribe button if you hadn't already. I don't know if you all have. I have not had an opportunity to check and see if you hit the subscribe button, but I'm looking now. I'm going to look right now to see if you good people care about me enough to hit the subscribe button and help me, okay? Because at this point, it's about me. It's about me getting to 100,000 subscribers, and it's taking a long time. I'm just saying, I feel like I should be there by now as people. I need some more people to subscribe. I need approximately 66 people. Well, no, hold on. I need 63 people to subscribe to the channel right now, and that will get me to 95,000. Okay, I need 63 people to subscribe to the channel. Okay, I need 63 people. Somebody type 63 in the chat room. Chantel Smith, I need you to subscribe to the channel. Dwight Chair, I need you to subscribe to the channel. Okay, who else is in here? Jelena Taborn, I need all y'all to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Don't hate watch. Okay, don't have me up here forehead sweating, talking to you all about history, trying to make it interesting. I need all of y'all to subscribe to the channel right now. Don't play me. I'm not here for the games. I need my subscriptions to go up. I want a little gold plaque on my wall behind my head. Okay? Do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. If you have already subscribed to the channel, double check, because YouTube plays these vicious games with me. I need 58 people to subscribe. I need y'all to make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Let me see what my subscriptions look like. We ain't taking a break, but you all need to go ahead and, are you learning something? If you hadn't learned anything, you just hard to teach. But if you learn something, I should earn something. But in the meantime, I need y'all to make sure. Apparently, YouTube took 20 of my subscribers away for whatever reasons. I need you all to make sure you are still subscribed to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel right now. Take the time to subscribe to the channel. I'm checking to see what my subscriptions look like right now. I need you all to take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel. You'll never get another person as bold as me. I need, I need approximately 18 people to subscribe to the channel so I can get to 92,600. I need 18 people to subscribe to the channel so I can get to 92,600. Okay, so take the time and hit your little button and subscribe to the channel right now. I know you hear me. I know you hear me. I know. I'm looking at you. You right there. You with your phone like this on the side of your face. I'm looking you in the pickup, you in the truck with your phone down there listening to me in your truck. You riding across the country. Yeah, you. I need you to subscribe to the channel right now. Don't play. All right? Go ahead. Go ahead. You sitting in there ignoring your girlfriend, listening to me, go ahead and do it. Go ahead. Everybody who have something else to do and you sat up here and decided to listen to me with your earphones on, subscribe to the channel right now. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. Yes, you. Is he talking to me? I'm talking to you. You with the shirt on. I'm talking to you right now. And I'm talking to you too, lady. I'm talking to you with the bonnet on your head. All the women with bonnets on your head. Every woman with a bonnet on her head, I need you to subscribe to the channel right now. All right? Fellas. All the fellas with crusty feet, I need you to subscribe to the channel right now. I need my crusty feet crew. All the brothers that have not put lotion on their feet and they got ashy ankles, I need you to subscribe to the channel. All the white supremacists who are waiting around for me to get the black committee to issue an official apology, I need y'all to hit the subscribe button now. Go ahead and do it. All the angry Muslims, all the angry black Muslims, I need you to come in here. I need you to subscribe. You need to hear this. You need to come on up in and hear this. I need 6 more people to subscribe to the channel right now. All you angry, come on. Come on now. Don't run from it. Don't just be happy it's not your day. Just be happy it's not your day. I'll be on them when people day. I give them their day. Haitians they caught hands last week. They caught hands last week. The poor Haitians they were like, what are you doing to me? We are doing. Yeah, I caught hands. It's not your day today, baby. Subscribe to the channel today. Go ahead. We need 5 more people to subscribe to the channel, and I get back to work. I need 5 people. Out of 600-700 of y'all, I need 5 folk. You send this to a friend. Send this to your Muslim friend. He about to do his hadith. He over there, talking about don't eat pork. Don't eat pork. Send him this. Next time you say, that's why I've been eating them pork rinds in front of you right now. I didn't know. Yeah. I need 5 people. All I need is 5 people to subscribe to the channel, and we will be at 92,000. Okay, I need 4 people. Don't hate watch. You're not gonna sit up here and hate watch me. You're gonna subscribe to this channel. 3 people. I need 3 people to subscribe to the channel. I need 3 more people. Look where we at. I want y'all to see where we at. Okay? See that? See, you can't see. It's almost. I need 3 people to subscribe to the channel, and I get back to work. I got more to say. I'll talk to you. 2 people. I need 2 people. I got 92,598 people. Subscribe to the channel now. 1 person. I need 1 person to give me the 92,600. And I get back to work. I'm going to get back to work as soon as y'all give me my 92,600 people. There we go. Praise God. See, that wasn't so hard, was it? Now let's get back. Let's get back to where we at. I'd like to thank all the crusty feet people, all the ladies with bonnets on, okay? Everything that the Democrat Party stands for, basically our leadership primed us to accept that. That's why not being loyal, that's why being disloyal to the Democrat Party is akin to being against the revolution. You see what I mean? You see how that works? You ain't black. What did Joe Biden say? You ain't black if you don't vote Democrat. Where's that sound? That sounds like black empowerment, pro-black talk from the 1960s and 70s. And that's where we headed. And nobody's gonna tell you about this because folk hadn't really thought about it like that. This is not what's taught. You actually have to do some thinking on your own. And unfortunately, our people have not been taught to think on their own. Okay? We've been taught to read and regurgitate. We've never been taught this. What I'm telling you all right now is freeing your mind up. And nobody wants to free you up. But this is a freedom channel over here. Now, some of you all may not like what I say on any given day. I know some people, the Haitians was mad at me for a long time. And then I started talking about how in the injustice they were dealing with. They were like, well, he ain't that bad. Right? Then we had the African people in the motherland were mad at me, and then they said, well, yeah. And then they start hitting me saying, well, when I start talking about Sierra Leone and Liberia and how foundational Black Americans went over there and colonized. And they was like, hold on, he ain't that bad. You're not supposed to like every goddamn thing I say. You're not supposed to. Shout out to Brown Eyes. Thank you so much, baby. Great show. Learned a lot. I'm not finished yet. I got to bring it home. Uncle D I got to drive you home and drop your ass off. Make sure you walk in the front door. Praise Moses. I want to make sure you get there. I'm a videotape it too, because you ain't going to blame me. All right. Shout out to Fuquan. Okay. You understand? So you're not supposed to like everything I say, but my delivery style is very easy to understand. I have a philosophy and I talk about it in my books, Rules to Live By. The best way to get somebody's attention is to punch them in the mouth. Now, I don't mean literally doing that, because you will go. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back to the broadcast. So I put the chat on subscribers only, but I need the mods to go ahead and start getting rid of these trolls. You guys, if you see a troll say something you don't like, it's a free-for-all. You guys go ahead and get rid of these trolls so that we can get back to the broadcast. But anyway, family, so we're talking about this NAACP says boycott the SEC, and I just don't think that's a good idea. Okay, so here's the thing. Let's go to another more sinister aspect of this. And I've already established that they're not talking about Black athletes. What they're talking about is young. And shout out to Crusader, when this campaign says black families and black athletes, we need to be honest what that can mean in real life. And in many cases, they're not talking about intact households where there's a father, two people can sit down and have a conversation about their son. They're talking about black boys and their single black mothers who may have the most direct emotional influence over this young, talented athlete. They want her to manipulate his decision through the strongest. They're trying to manipulate this decision through his strongest emotional and most trusted relationship in his life. Let's look at some facts. In 2023, the CDC showed that 69.3% of births to black women was to unmarried women. Now compare that to 40% for overall U.S. birth rates, 54% of Hispanic women, 28% for white women. These are out of wedlock birth rates, 12% for Asian women. So the Center for American Progress also reported that in 2023, 47% of black mothers were single mothers. And so think about that. Those numbers matter because when a campaign says black families, somebody type black families in the chat room. When a campaign says black families, it's speaking on a family structure where the mother has the strongest day-to-day influence over the child's education and politics and emotions and life decisions. And the NAACP is counting on the fact that young black men naturally want to honor, protect, and please the woman who raised them. So and shout out to Kareem Sheaf. So if the NAACP makes an emotional appeal to black mothers, okay, what they're trying to do is reach out to the black athletes, to the person they trust the most. As a young black man, 18, 19, 20 years old, you've been asked to make a business decision that affects your scholarship, your NIL money, your draft exposure, and professional future. But if his mother is emotionally pressured to see the sacrifice as a racial or political duty, then he may end up risking his future for a cause that may never benefit his household. A mother's love shouldn't be used as a political pressure point. And that's the part that needs to be exposed. And when they say black families, we know they're really trying to reach black mothers so that black mothers who overwhelmingly vote Democrat will pressure black sons. And black women have been one of the most reliable voting blocs for the Democrat Party since 2024. In the national exit poll, they showed that Kamala Harris won black voters by a large margin. She got 86% of the black vote. Trump got 12%. Black women remain the most reliable Democratic voters and supported Harris to the tune of 92%. Somebody type 92 in the chat room. 92% of black women voted for Kamala Harris, who specifically said she would not do anything for black people. And that doesn't mean every black woman thinks the same, but politically the pattern is clear. Black women have historically been a powerful and loyal Democratic bloc. And now connect the political reality to the family reality. In 2023, 47% of black mothers were single mothers. And that means that in a large number of black households, mothers are the central decision makers. So if a political organization can frame a boycott as a moral duty to race, the pressure is going to land on the pressure is not just going to land only on the athlete, but on the mother who loves him and wants to believe she's doing the right thing for her people. And that's why I'm saying this is sinister. You see, the Democrats are trying to use the person those young men love the most to help deliver a sacrifice. They know many young black men love their mothers deeply. They know many of them want to please their mothers. They know many of them want to lift their mothers out of the struggle. And now that the same pathway that could help him do that is being put on the table as something he should risk for some crooked ego-driven politician to keep his or her funky political position. And if his mother's already sympathetic to the Democratic Party, already used to voting for Democrats, already emotionally connected to the civil rights messaging, then this campaign is asking her to help convince her son to make a decision that will permanently affect his career. So, again, this is where we are. All right? Are y'all still with me? Hit the number 1 button if you're still with me. Hit the number 1 button if you're still with me. So that's what it's really about. Now, I have some videos I want to share with you guys. You guys make sure you can hit it as long as you hear what's being said. Make sure you hit the number 1. I'm gonna let these videos play first, and we will go ahead and proceed. All right, and I'll let them check. Y'all hit the number 1 button where you can hear it, and I'm gonna just let the videos play. Check this out. All right, this is what they're asking us to do.
Moment when black representation is under attack, it is important for the CBC to keep in their tradition of being the moral of the Congress, but the moral of conscience of this country. No representation, no revenue, no one black should be on a playing field of institutions that's living off of our labor, and yet in states that are seeking to reinstitute a sharecropping reality.
He said sharecropping.
It is not the responsibility of Black America to hold individuals who should know better accountable for doing better. As soon as the United States Congress stand united to ensure our Constitution represent all of us, we will be a better nation as a result. NAACP this morning, in solidarity with the CBC, we are calling on athletes who are coming out of high school not to attend any state.
Do you hear what he said? He's calling on athletes. Okay. Do you think he's talking to hockey players? Is that who you all think he's talking to? Huh? Absolutely not. Not talking to hockey. Is he talking to the golf team? Heck no, he's not talking to the golf team. Who's he talking to? He's talking to young Black men, teenagers, fresh out of high school, trying to make a decision as to what's going to be the best thing for them to do.
State-funded schools of
Shout
states
out to,
that have moved to minimize our right to vote, to minimize our ability to elect candidates of our choice, and states that are seeking to create a sharecropping reality. Whether that state be Missouri or Mississippi, whether that state is South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, Texas, or Florida. 55% of all African Americans live in the former Confederate South. But the 55% of us who live in the former Confederate South, we will not tolerate a Confederate mentality on our labor, on our ability to contribute, and our ability to be to have representation. In this moment, our democracy is in crisis. This is not about partisanship. This is about true representation. And for the NAACP, we will fight with all we have in solidarity with the Congressional Black Caucus to ensure that we have representation, or if we don't.
And some of y'all didn't catch that. Did you catch that? He said we will fight, the NAACP will fight with the Congressional National Black Caucus. So what does that tell you? That tells you that the NAACP is at this time being used by the Democrats to galvanize Black people, Black athletes specifically, to get on out there, right? Get on out there and put it all on the line for politicians to try to keep their jobs. I want y'all to think about that, okay? Think about what they're asking these Black athletes to do. Just think about that. All right, let's get back to it.
We will withhold the talent that play on the football field.
Somebody type we, as if this man was at the as if he was at the at all the football games. You understand what I'm saying? Think about that, man. Think about that. We, again, this is another example of trying to use black bodies, black men specifically, to sacrifice. You see what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind. This is what he's trying to do.
Or on the basketball court, be the male or female in this moment.
Okay. Let's go on to the next one. So you see the game is afoot. They're telling you exactly what they want. Okay. They want to use black male bodies, no different than the NBA. That's what they want to do. No different than these other teams that they complain about. These sports teams or these big schools. You see what I mean? So think about that. Let's move on to the next one. You guys make sure you hit the number 1 button if you can hear clearly. Let's check this out.
Is urging athletes and fans to boycott over voting rights. Black athletes in particular to boycott the athletic programs and the public universities. Why this is even being called upon is because of recent fights with voting rights and political representation in the South. Specifically after a recent Supreme Court ruling that weakened the parts of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. After that ruling, several southern states are quickly redrawing their congressional map. That means that that's going to dilute the black vote and it's going to restrict black political figures, or more so black political representation. So essentially the NAACP is saying if these states are benefiting largely off of the black athletes, those same institutions should not be silent when their black vote is being weakened. This campaign is called Out of Bounds. And what that looks like is, and this is taken from the NAACP site, I'll read some of it now. Black athletes and recruits are asked to withhold their commitment from targeted programs, to ask coaches, athletic directors, where the
Now, again, are we talking about black athletes? Or are we talking about black male athletes? That's the question that we need to ask ourselves. Okay, let's keep listening.
Universities stand on voting rights and to visit seriously considering HBCUs. Current college athletes are asked to use their platforms to elevate the issue and ask institutional leadership for public statements opposing racial vote dilution. And also fans, alumni, donors, and consumers are asked to stop purchasing tickets, merchandise, and licensed apparel from target groups and redirect that spending to HBCUs. And honestly, let's keep it above. The sports culture is a very big and large financial engine for the South. SEC football, TV programs, NIL deals, alumni associations, and donations. Advocacy in athletics isn't new. Colin Kaepernick took a knee during the national anthem to protest against police brutality. The NBA has also spoken out against police brutality, and LeBron James in particular helped start More Than a Vote, an initiative that combats voter suppression. Some women in the WNBA in particular have skipped seasons as a way to protest. History has shown that athletes don't just shape the culture on the field or on the court. They also can shape it off the court as well.
See that? Not talking about all athletes, okay? That's not what they're talking about. They're talking about black male athletes, okay? That's what they're talking about. They want black male athletes to put it all on the line for these politicians so that they can keep their jobs. And I'm going to explain that a little more. But let's look at the next video. You guys make sure you hit the number 1 button. And thank you all for the contributions. I surely do appreciate them. We will make sure we read each and every one later. Check this out.
Today, tell me exactly what you're trying to do here.
Yeah, the Out of Bounds campaign is more than sports. It's about power. It's about ownership. It's about accountability. Black athletes have helped build college athletics into a
I bet you didn't help build any college football program, sir. I bet you didn't. Okay. I bet he didn't. Let's keep listening.
multi-billion-dollar industry, especially in football and basketball, as we pointed out here. Yet many of those same states are benefiting from Black talent, are actively working to weaken Black political representation and voting power. For generations, we know that Black athletes have carried the weight of college athletics on their backs. And this is a moment for us to realize that that power we bring into those institutions can be used to protect our communities, our voices, and our future. Universities cannot continue to profit from Black talent, celebrate Black culture, and recruit Black students aggressively while remaining silent when those same students' rights are under attack.
Why focus on the students? For example, I saw LSU on that list. There's no mention of players who play for the New Orleans Saints, for example, with the National Football League, or the University of Georgia was on that list. And in Georgia, you have the Atlanta Hawks in the NBA, or the Falcons in the NFL, the Braves in Major League Baseball. Why the students here? And what would you say to the Attorney General there in South Carolina, who says they are being used for political gain?
He's right.
This is about ownership. As young Black athletes must recognize that their talents has value far beyond a field or a court. Their influence moves culture, economics.
Why? I mean, who appointed? Here's my thing. Who appointed this dude to tell young Black athletes what they should do? Why did they put this dude up? Okay, who is he? Okay, he looked like he couldn't bench press his own weight. And he's up here telling these young men who've been working since they were children, since they were probably in a youth football, and he's telling them what they can and can't do. Think about that. Let's keep going.
And yes, it moves politics. States cannot celebrate Black excellence on a Saturday while silencing Black communities on a Tuesday at the ballot box. Those same communities that produce these elite athletes are the communities fighting for fair representation, equitable schools, and a democratic process that works for us all. Out of bounds, this campaign is the redirection of that power. If Black talent can build these programs, Black talent as well can we can control how that accountability looks like.
Why do you believe?
Who is we? Somebody type we. Who is we? Who is we? Who is we? Huh? Let's keep listening.
Believe that this is going to work, and I obviously the issue here is the recent Supreme Court decision, or one of the issues here. But I take you back to 2021, Atlanta. Major League Baseball pulled the All-Star game out of Atlanta in 2021 because of concerns about voting issues there. And last year, the Major League Baseball All-Star game was back in Atlanta. Atlanta got its MLB All-Star game back, but the controversial laws haven't changed. The 2021 All-Star game was yanked after Georgia passed controversial voting laws. So if that happened in 2021 and they got it back, why do you believe that this effort will succeed going forward?
Because every commitment, every ticket purchase, every NIL partnership, and every dollar spent carries political and economic weight. We understand historically.
And again, this dude is representing the NAACP. Did you all hear what the NAACP stands for? Somebody type colored people in the chat room. Colored people. Why aren't the Samoans being asked to come on out? Because there's a lot of Samoans playing football. A lot of them. A lot of Samoans. And they are definitely colored. They colored with big noses. Their nose look like that. Okay? They got some big noses and some big heads too. Okay? And they're out there playing linebacker, defensive line. Okay? They out there playing. They're colored people too, but I don't hear them being called to boycott. Why is it the Black people? And this is supposed to be for colored people. Let's keep listening. Let's keep listening to this gentleman.
Economic pressure has always been one of the strongest tools in the civil rights movement, and from bus boycotts to corporate disinvestment campaigns, when folks do not respond to morality, we know we can hit them where their pockets is. So this is not about punishment. It's not about just for students. It's about accountability. Institutions benefiting from Black talent should not be silent when Black political representation is under attack. Nobody should be silent when Black representation is under attack.
I saw a lot of the lawmakers out there, the Congressional Black Caucus, obviously the House Minority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries. Have you heard?
Hakeem's going to lose his job. That's why he's out there screaming and hollering. Where are the colored people? Again, the NAACP stands for colored people. It was founded by colored people. Okay? It was founded by colored people. Why aren't the colored people out here? Okay, why is it just Black athletes? Are there no other people of color in those jurisdictions? Those congressional districts, plenty of them. Why aren't we calling them? Why aren't they the ones out there?
For many student athletes who are going to leave the universities and go elsewhere, or is this has it not reached that point yet?
You know, it's continuing to evolve. You know, we launched this campaign this morning and encouraging folks as they're continuing to look at, you know, their who they signed to and their commitments, especially high school folks going into college or folks who are already in college. But also, as we said, this was not only a call to those athletes. This was a call to the fans and supporters. As we talk about buying tickets when you want to support these games, this is much deeper than just the athletes. This is a communal approach of how we approach this. And if
a communal approach. Are you y'all, has the NAACP, with all that money you guys got in 20, are y'all communally paying these people's bills? Are you going to replace these NIL? Look, I haven't watched football since probably 10 years. I used to watch a lot of football. Hell, I used to play football. I don't even watch football anymore. So I'm just saying, you're asking these young men to basically give up potential jobs. That's what you're asking them to do. And he don't look like he plays with no kind of sports. This dude right here, dude got a pencil neck. It's just, you're not doing anything. Nobody's gonna listen to you. Okay. But again, you know who they're trying to appeal to. They're trying to trick black women who are loyal to the Democrat Party, who are predominantly raising these boys to convince their sons through emotional ties to forego going to a SEC school or ACC school. That's what this is about. Okay, let's keep listening.
Universities are going to be profiting off the backs of their black student athletes, then these same universities should be speaking up as relates to them their representation being under attack.
All right.
Again, why don't the other colored people speak up? Why aren't they saying anything? Huh? Let's keep going.
We'll leave it there. By the way, I should note we put a comment, asked for comment from the NCAA, the ACC, and the SEC, at least as of this point, have not yet.
Nothing to talk about. Nothing to say. This is the reason we like football is non-political. Now, we have a lot of people who have a lot to say about this. I'm going to let this brother speak. Okay?
In several different states. I'm a six-figure financial advisor, not your financial advisor yet. And I have thoughts on this. The states in question are Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, Texas, and South Carolina. College football and basketball at these schools generates hundreds of millions of dollars a year. A large majority of that talent is comprised of black athletes. Now, Tennessee just eliminated their only majority black congressional district last week after the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act. It's a pretty loud message on how these southern states want our black labor, they want our black likeness, but not our black votes. So the NAACP leads with using that labor and likeness as leverage. Obviously, the strategy is the right way to go. Black economic power is real, and the threat of pulling it is one of the few things that these institutions actually respond to. The SEC isn't going to...
I want you all to remember, boycotts typically are things that affect everybody. And there's a reason why some of the boycotts in the past were so effective, because all black people had a stake in it. Whether you were a rich person, a poor person, a tall person, a short person, you still had to ride on the back of the bus in the colored section. And so we were all affected. But at this particular juncture, we are asking the most vulnerable amongst us, the young black males, right, who have very limited opportunity, who have high risk of homicide and death and just all around just vilified by the country as a whole. We're asking them to sacrifice the most. Just think about how selfish that is. You're going to sit back with your college degree that you've earned up in New York City, and you're going to send directives to all these black folk around the country who may be loyal to the Democrat Party, that specifically targeting black women, that they should tell their sons to forego going to a SEC. No, you just go ahead and go to that community college. That's what I want you to do. Go ahead and go to the community college. It's about the same thing. You'll get an NIL deal down at City Tech. Somebody will come look at you. And we all know that's just BS. Let's keep listening to this.
Lobby for your voting rights out of the goodness of their hearts, but they will absolutely pick up the phone when their championship rosters are at risk, when their entertainment is at risk, when their sports revenues are at risk. Do I think every black athlete is going to sit out? No. We can't account for anybody's moral price, NIL money is real and lucrative. Transfer portals exist, and individual decisions are just complicated. But the pressure that this creates is the point. You don't have to boycott to make the boycott work. Some of y'all are still spending money at Target, while the rest of us with a spine effectively disrupted their profits by actually boycotting. The threat and preparation of
here, the rest of us with a spine. First of all, I don't think I've been to Target in the past 10 years. If I'm going to order something now with all you crazy people out there, I'm going to order it through Amazon. Okay. Now, my son, he likes Walmart. I've never seen him go to a Target. I don't know. Okay. But my thing is, it wasn't that hard to give up Target because that's not really part of our culture. Football is part of Southern culture, and Black American culture is Southern culture. You're asking them to give up a lot. Even if you never even walked foot on the Alabama campus. If you're from Alabama, if you're from the South, and they're playing somebody from somewhere else, and that's in your general region, you may root for Alabama. Same thing with Georgia. Same thing with LSU. It's a lot of little black boys running around Baton Rouge, couldn't find LSU. They know when they pass by it, but they root for LSU. It's part of the heritage. Target is not. Okay? Target is not. All right? And so this is why, just listen to the shaming, like you all who have no spine. It takes no courage not to shop somewhere. Are you kidding me? But what you really need to explain is why did the Walmart boycott fail? Because remember we tried to boycott Walmart and it failed? Just think about that. Let's keep listening to this gentleman.
Boycotting collegiate sports should be enough to have some athletic directors call their school presidents, who in turn call the local government. Black wealth, black labor, black votes, they're all connected. We know this, but the powers that be think that they can successfully separate and exploit them at will. And they can't.
Mm-hmm. No, you all are trying to manipulate these young black children, these young black boys, especially knowing that a lot of women are raising these boys on their own. And so you're trying to manipulate the women to make their sons make a decision based on politics. That's what you're trying to do. And we see it. We see you. Somebody type, we see you.
CP. You know what that stands for? Negroes ain't achieved consistent progress.
Oh, Lord.
I said what I said. 60 years. 60. Same speech, same march, same slogan, new logo, same problems. And now they're asking black athletes to leverage their platform over redistricting maps? Maps? You know what a map never did? Paid a mortgage, opened a business, fixed a failing school, kept a father in the home, built generational wealth. But they need your jersey, your name, and your influence for the cause. And when the camera leaves, where they at? I'm not telling you not to fight. I'm asking you to ask a harder question. What have we actually owned? What have we actually built? At some point, the question isn't, are you down for the cause? It's, whose cause are you down for? Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
Okay. So again, you're starting to see that you're getting some pushback. There are a lot, especially you notice from a lot of black men who are not biased, who aren't part of the Democratic stronghold. And these are just average brothers speaking. This is another brother who's going to go. He looked like he can barbecue. Somebody type, he looked like he can barbecue.
NAACP want black athletes to boycott the SEC schools. They want black fans not to support SEC sports. Man, you know good and well.
It's crazy.
We are not boycotting football. And we're going to continue to send our kids to SEC schools. We know good and well, the South don't care about no black political interests. They don't care about that. But I know we ain't boycotting no football. When Colin Kaepernick took a knee to protest police brutality.
Now I'm gonna just tell you, I bet his tailgate is off the chain. I can say he got the RV with the electrical, portable electrical unit, the generator. This dude right here, all the music, he probably got Zydeco playing. You know what I mean? You can go in there, he got a whole sleeper in there. The food is good. He got all the barbecue. You want to eat ribs, beef ribs, pork ribs, chicken ribs. You go over there and it's good. You got the lawn chairs out there. He might not buy tickets to the game. Okay, but he's going to be in the parking lot with the tailgate. I can tell by the hat. I can tell by the hat he's wearing. Okay. Many of you all don't know this about me. Okay. But I am a proud Southern University graduate. Proud Southern University Law Center graduate, which means I've seen what tailgates do. Okay, tailgates change the whole, everybody, all the old people come back for the tailgate. Everybody, they pulling up, they rich, they got Rolexes on their wrists and barbecue sauce, all it just spread out all on the table. Okay, they're not gonna give you any food. They don't know you, just a student. You ain't nobody, but it's fun to look at. Okay, everybody shows up. All right, you're not gonna stop that. That's not gonna happen. You're not gonna stop that. It's futile. Let's keep listening. Somebody say he got a lazy boy. He got a lazy boy. He gonna pull him. He got the lazy boy and the portable TV with the satellite. Let's keep listening. Yeah.
We still watch football. You think we're not gonna watch the SEC on Saturdays?
I know. I'm trying to tell him that.
That's crazy. Now, when it went down with Colin Kaepernick, I boycotted that whole NFL season when he got blackballed. I didn't even watch the Super Bowl between the Eagles and the Patriots. The Eagles won.
I mean, my man he knows. He understands about the Trinity. Somebody type the Trinity in the chat room. All the people from Louisiana, New Orleans, you know what the Trinity is, right? Huh? Come on, tell them. Tell them what the Trinity is. The Trinity. Every New Orleans meal has to start with the Trinity. What is the Trinity? Bell pepper, onions, and what else? Bell pepper, onions, and what else? I'm going to give a bonus point to anybody who can spell Tony Satchery. Anybody in the chat room who can spell Tony Satchery, I'm going to give you the bonus point. Okay? If you can spell Tony Satchery, I'm going to give you the bonus point. Matter of fact, if you can get Tony Satchery, Chopatulis, and and you can spell it correctly. That's right. Bell pepper, onion, and celery. She got it. Tony Satchery, not Tony, all these Yankees. Look.
If blacks wasn't able to.
It's people planning on how they're going to tailgate at the next SEC party today. Are you kidding me? Y'all have lost y'all rabbit minds. Let's keep listening to this. Anyway. Let's see. We got another couple of videos.
Is not playing right now. They are calling for a boycott from athletes and fans from any public university in a state where they are actively dismantling black voting rights. So they are calling on athletes and fans to not support.
No, they're calling on black athletes. They're calling specifically black men. They're not talking about athletes. They want black men to throw it all on the line so some of these politicians can keep their job. That's what they want.
Support those universities not to support those games, and athletes to not go to those schools in red states where they are actively trying to suppress the black vote. Here is some of the statement about it. It is called the Out of Bounds campaign. They specifically named the states Tennessee, Louisiana, Alabama, Florida, Mississippi, South Carolina, Texas, and Georgia as target states where they want athletes to avoid, and obviously fans to avoid as well.
The best states. Okay? You telling me you want Mississippi, Tennessee, and you want us to boycott Tennessee, Louisiana, Alabama, Florida, Mississippi, South Carolina, Texas, and Georgia? That's all the best states. Which we're gonna trade them in for New Jersey, Iowa, goddamn Indiana. Have you lost your mind? You all are crazy as a bag of wet cats. That's how crazy you are. Okay? So some politicians, so Hakeem can keep his job. That's what this is about. Okay? I just want you to understand that.
This action is directly caused by the Supreme Court ruling in which states have clearly been moving fast to get black voters out of there. In this statement, the NAACP said, "We will not watch the same institutions that depend on black athletes to fill their stadiums and their bank
Who is we? What you mean we? Who is we? Who elected these people? Now again, did I explain that the NAACP stands for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People? Colored people. This is not an organization that advances black people. It's colored people. So who are we? Who's the we talking about? Your organization represents colored people. We are black people. Matter of fact, we are foundational black Americans. Somebody type FBA in the chat room. Okay? Let's understand that. We are not, by any means, part of your we. And if it's gonna be a we, then let it be a we. Called where are the Samoans? Where are the Latinos? Okay, where are all the other people in this coalition? Why are we just talking to black people? And the reason they're just talking to black people because they really want the black football players and basketball players and really their mamas to influence them not to go to schools down south where they might have their best opportunity to get NIL deals, TV time, and get drafted. That's what this is about. These people are horrible.
Accounts remain silent while their stage strip black communities out of their voice. Clock it. Out of bounds is our answer. We are naming the contradiction, and we are calling on black.
You ain't naming nothing, little girl. Not a damn thing. With your wide set eyes. I don't trust nobody who eyeballs is that wide. See how that? I don't trust you. Your eyes are too far apart. Okay, that's what I'm saying. You're not looking straight on. Your eyes is over here too far. I don't trust you.
Black athletes, families, fans, and consumers to act on it. The same power that built these programs can be redirected, and it will be. Obviously, black athletes are generating billions of dollars for these schools that are bankrolling politicians who are coming up with these laws. So I totally understand why the NAACP is doing this. I know when this kind of thing has been brought up before, people call out that the black workers in those southern states who get money from college athletes and depend on that for work will also be hurt, which I think is unfortunate. But I think we are in a moment that kind of calls for some different measures and some sacrifices along the way.
You ain't even from down here. Those black workers will get hurt down south. You are not even from here. Y'all in goddamn California some damn way. Darn it. The heck is wrong with you? Get up out of here. Get your big forehead self up out of here, little girl. Nobody gonna talk to you no more. Now, the other thing is this. Again, they're so quick to call black people with specificity. They will quickly, when they need some help, somebody type help. Somebody in the chat room type help. Okay? Help. Huh? Help. They're so quick to call black people when they need help. Why? Because they think we fools. Listen to this.
Map above me is where we are likely headed for the 2028 congressional election, where every single blue and red state does the maximum gerrymander for partisan gain, and there are virtually no competitive congressional seats left in the United States. And why, you ask? Since we've always had gerrymandering since basically the foundation of the United States, has the map never gotten this bad? Well, it's because of two recent Supreme Court decisions. The first was back in 2019, where the conservative majority on the Supreme Court decided that federal courts should play no role in deciding any cases around partisan gerrymandering, essentially allowing states to do whatever they want with maps as long as they adhere to the Voting Rights Act. And then, as I'm sure you know, recently the Supreme Court just gutted the Voting Rights Act in a 6-3 decision by the now even larger conservative majority, saying that as long as you're saying this map is drawn for partisan reasons and not for racial reasons, you can do whatever you want, even if the effect is to take majority-minority districts and divide them into multiple
minority districts or black districts? Because if we talk about minorities, I want to know what the rest of these minorities are. What are they giving up? That's what I'd like to know. Okay?
White districts. And so that is what brings us back to this point, where every
Yes,
single
we
red
know.
state right now is running as quickly as possible to change their districts either for this election or for 2028 and eliminate all of those blue seats that were protected by the Voting Rights Act. And the math for gerrymandering is pretty straightforward. In states where one party has a huge advantage, it's very easy to draw a map where all the districts voted for that party now. So for instance, in Tennessee, where Donald Trump won by, let's say, 30 points, you should theoretically also be able to draw a map where he won every single district by 30 points. And they've pretty much done that in this new map where he won every single district by 20 points or more. Zooming back out to the map, that's why you see some of the red states have a few blue vote sinks. So for instance, in Georgia, there are 2 Democratic seats around Atlanta. And by packing all those voters there, you can ensure that the rest of Georgia will elect Republicans, even if Democrats win 50% of the vote in the state. And this nightmare doesn't just stop at the federal
Nightmare.
level. It's also going.
I mean, these Democrats are on it, man. They are really out there trying to scare the crap out of black people, especially the last group of black people that you're going to make afraid related to racism is going to be black people who live in the South. Most of these black people have lived in the South for a long time. They didn't leave. And those of us who came back to the South, that means we're not worried about racism. We understand that. Let me tell you what, America, the South is America. You understand what I'm saying? The South is America. This is the culture that is America. Now, again, I want to kind of drive home the point. I see them specifically calling out black people. They want our help specifically. Okay. And when I say specific, I don't hear them calling for people of color. I don't hear them calling Latinos and Samoans. They are literally saying our name as if we're the only ones that suffer. Shout out to Fuquan. Let's keep listening.
I think we also have to understand that Black Americans have faced barricades.
Black Americans. Okay. Listen to look at it, but one black person on there, maybe 2. Okay. Listen to this. All right. They calling our name. Chaos erupts after the Tennessee approves a new map to eliminate Dem seats. Don't they have Vietnamese people in Tennessee? I got to be at least 1 or 2 Samoans. Up there. Why are they not saying the Samoans should be outraged? They should get out. We people of color, right? Well, all the people of color.
And if you are someone that believes that your vote should count, you should be. I think we also have to understand that Black Americans have faced barricade after barricade after barricade in front of them forever for voting. So to take a majority black district like Memphis and split it up, pull it into 3 separate sections so it goes into rural Tennessee. If you aren't familiar with the state, they're taking a black district and stretching.
I mean, that's like the 4th time this woman has said black in like 15 seconds. When have they ever said, oh yeah, we got black reparations, we have black restitution, we need to do better by these black people? None of that. But the minute is they need bodies on the front line. That's black, 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 black. Everything is black. Just think about that, man.
Stretching it out so that the white voters overtake the black voters in those 3 districts. That's deliberately trying to make one party have no representation. It is an abuse of power.
Are they trying to make one party have no representation? Are you saying that you depended 100% on black people in the Democrat Party? Because I thought it was white Democrats too. It was white Democrats. What do you mean? I mean, what do you mean by that representation? I need to know. Let's keep listening.
We should say that this is not just a black voter problem, because if anyone thinks their vote should count, this is a problem. This is starting with black voters, but
you calling black voters specifically, okay? Becky is calling, she calling black like she got a black boyfriend. You understand what I'm saying? That's where she at.
It'll carry on to all of us. The bottom line is Trump and the MAGA Republicans are losing. People are not happy with how they are running the country. So they are desperate to control the outcome of elections by stripping away their opponents' power piece by piece, particularly in the South where they have the most control. We need a national ban on gerrymandering. It doesn't matter what party we have.
She is enraged. Didn't she just enrage? She is losing it. I mean, you would think she's going to lose her job as a pundit or something like that.
Law that limits who can vote, how they can vote, if their vote is counted, is wrong. We need fair, nonpartisan maps. Take a grid to the entire country if you have to. We shouldn't have what happened in Texas, in Florida, in Oklahoma, and yes.
I mean, she is like Angela Davis advocacy level for black people. Have you ever heard? I mean, just like last year, they had this black fatigue thing. And I didn't hear these people at all talking about that. Somebody type black fatigue in the chat room. What happened to all the black fatigue? I mean, and now you want us to come save somebody. Type we're resting. We are still resting, and we are looking forward to tailgating and watching some games on Saturday. And it is absolutely nothing you're gonna do about it. Okay, it's like TJ. Appreciate you, brother. Let's keep living. This is outrageous.
California and Virginia. That should not be happening. It should be fair. And if you are someone that believes that your vote should count, you should be angry. You do not have to be a Black American for this to happen, but you should be angry on behalf of Black Americans that it's happening to them again. I think we also have to understand.
They have Black fatigue. Why would they be angry? Look at this angry white woman. Baby, you look like you trying to explain to your racist uncle at the picnic why you have a Black boyfriend. That's the level of intensity. And that's your cousin next to you. Okay, that's your cousin looking at you side eye. Look at her eyes. Look at the white girl next to her. Okay, she's sitting there trying to explain why she got impregnated with a little chocolate-nated baby, okay, by a Black dude at the family reunion. That's what this appears to be to me. This is how intense this is. This is I've yet to see this much Black male advocacy. Black advocacy, period. Okay, this is amazing. We need to spray some Black fatigue on her so she can calm down. We need to bottle some Black fatigue to help her balance out. But again, this is the level that these Democrats are going through because they are trying to galvanize Black bodies. They're trying to get Black people out there again. Okay, let's get the Black people out here again on the front lines. And Black folks are like, nah, ain't gonna happen. You got the NAACP, which is the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, trying to convince Black people, right, that we need to save the Black people. We know that's not how you feel. Let's look at some more. I got a lot of videos, but I'm not gonna go too far with it. Here's enough, but I'm proving the point. Let's keep listening.
Approval rating who's desperately trying to hold on to power any way he can. Today, the Virginia Supreme Court overturned a congressional redistricting map that was approved by Virginia voters in a statewide referendum. The New York Times reports in its 4-3 opinion, the Virginia Supreme Court wrote that the problem was that the first vote on the amendment in the General Assembly, which would authorize Democrats to redraw the map, occurred days before last fall's legislative elections, meaning that some Virginians who cast their ballots early did so without knowing how their state lawmakers would vote on the new map. That, the justices wrote, violated the process laid out in the state constitution. Constitutional process matters. Following the law matters. We care about that. Courts are supposed to care about that. But context matters too. And it is completely justified for voters to feel that our democratic institutions are not meeting the moment that we're in. There is a gross asymmetry in our politics right now. In 2025, Virginia voters elected a Democratic governor by a whopping 15 points. In 2025, Virginia voters expanded the Democratic majority in the House of Delegates, giving Democrats complete control of the trifecta of state government. And in 2025, according to the Virginia Public Access Project, the majority of early ballots were from likely Democratic voters. Was some early voter in Virginia denied vote-changing information? Quite possibly. But all Virginia voters had the chance 17 days ago to vote directly.
All Virginia. He's talking about all. Somebody type all. So far, I've just heard all, right? So really doesn't seem like it has anything to do with us.
On the map issue, and a clear majority of them voted for it. Okay. And now the Virginia Supreme Court has invalidated all 1.6 million of those votes. It has invalidated the clear preference for Democratic governance in Virginia that Virginia voters have voted for loud and clear since November 2025, 2 times. Meanwhile, Republicans in southern states are aggressively drawing black majority congressional districts out of
somebody type black
existence after the conservative Supreme Court weakened key voting rights protections. Yesterday in Tennessee, Democratic lawmakers...
Hold on a minute. Look at all these white people. Black voters matter. Project protect the South, no Jim Crow map. Do you see these white people out here protesting? They can't get no black people out there. This is the problem that these white folk are having, right? Bless a little heart. They cannot get a black person off the couch right now. Do you see what's going on right there? And not a black person, and I see maybe one black person in the corner in the line on his way out. This is how desperate these people, they can't get black people. So now they got to put black on paper. Jim Crow, Black Voters Matter. Y'all just had black fatigue. What happened to the black fatigue? Do y'all know who Chud the Builder is? Do y'all know who he is? Do you know who he is? Because he's very popular. He's been all over the internet. Do y'all know what's that boy's name? The Mexican Nick Fuente. Have y'all not heard him? Y'all have black fatigue. And now that you're about to get stripped of your power, now you won't give us reparations. You won't give us an anti-black hate crime bill. You won't do that. Okay? But when it comes to saving your political power, now whole black people, you should be up. It's going to be a new Jim Crow. Black voters matter. No, all voters matter. Somebody type all voters matter. All voters matter. Don't put us in that. That's between y'all having a fight. Y'all figure it out. Let's listen to some more.
Attempted to filibuster and disrupt proceedings as Republicans pushed through a map that would effectively erase the last Democratic-held congressional district in the entire state. That district, which is a majority black district, is now being...
Look at the picture. Tennessee Republicans redraw maps to erase the last Democratic black majority district. And look at the picture right there. Not one black person in the picture. Y'all don't have one black friend. Somebody type black friend in the chat room. And look, let me do this. Shout out to everybody who's watching me on television. Apparently, YouTube told me I have a high number of people who really sit back and watch me on the TV. They're not just watching on the phone. They literally sit back and watch this on the television. So shout out to you all. That makes me feel special that you all plan to sit here and watch me. They said I have one of the highest rates of people who actually sit back and digest what I'm saying from a television screen, which means they put me YouTube. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. That's not just flipping out your phone and pushing the buttons. So shout out to all you guys who are watching me on the big screen. That's pretty cool. I might get some better cameras for y'all. I might do that. But anyway, let's think about it. Look at this photograph. Look at this photograph. Not one black person. Somebody type no black friends in the chat room. They don't have one black. Look at this. Y'all don't have a black boyfriend or anything. Not a black friend from elementary school you could have called out. Nothing. Just look at how sad this is. All these white folk out here talking about black majority, they couldn't get one black person out there. Boy, we are resting. We are definitely resting. Let's keep listening.
Carved apart and divided into multiple Republican-leaning districts. The new map is designed not to reflect those voters, but to outmaneuver them, to render them powerless to elect a leader of their choice. Here's the Tennessee State Senator.
What you mean, them? He said, them, they're powerless to elect the leader of their choice. Damn, we're so concerned about blacks. Those thems and days. He clearly don't have a black friend. Let's keep listening to that, man. This is sad.
London Lamar talking about this yesterday.
London Lamar.
This is a deliberate plan to take away the black vote. Black people aren't Democrat or Republican. We vote our issues. And
baby, you're going to lose your job. Okay? She got elected by a majority black district, baby. You're going to lose your job. You're going to lose that job, baby. You're a state senator in Tennessee. They're going to redistrict you. You're going to lose your job. You're going to have to change. You're going to have to be nice to some white people if you want to be a senator again. Okay? I'm just saying. They're going to cut us. They're going to spread your district out. Okay? No more fried fish, fried catfish, and fried chicken. You're actually going to have to stand on some issues. You're going to lose your job. London Lamar, you're going to lose your job. 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 You're going to lose your job, Lauren, Senator. I'm gonna let you keep talking.
And so far, the black people in Memphis vote their issues, and to see them act like they don't know what they're doing and deliberately take away our ability to have a solid voting power and representation in Congress is one of the most egregious acts since Reconstruction. Our ancestors.
Shout out to Philosophical. You hear that? She said, our ancestors. The ancestors. Now you calling up the ancestors, baby. You calling up the ancestors. Boy, I tell you. Something else. Okay, let's keep listening. Let's keep listening. We're gonna let them.
Why so many Americans are angry and feel like their democratic institutions are failing them. The conservative Supreme Court handed Donald Trump broad.
No, we tired of you, sir. Let's hear what the black people have to say. She look real smart. Let's see if she says something smart. I want to see if she says some smart stuff. All right, I'm just trying to ask. Let's see. They bringing up black people that's been dead that we ain't even hear about. We don't even hear about this during Black History Month. This is more black than Black History Month.
Possibility. He said, quote, this, Mr. Chairman, is perhaps the Negro's temporary farewell to the American Congress. But Phoenix-like, he will rise up someday and come again, end quote. And he was right. Black political representation did rise again through a generation of organizing and bloody protests and arrests that ultimately triumphed with the passage of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. But now, after years of the Supreme Court weakening those protections, we're entering a dangerous period of democratic backsliding.
I mean, y'all didn't know that that's what they were doing. They've been doing it for like 30 years, trying to weaken it. Y'all couldn't do something 30 years ago, during Clinton, during Obama. Now, all of a sudden, young black men got to throw away their contracts, NIL contracts. That's what they got to go to Tuscaloosa and say, no, I can't take this job. I got to go on there to the HCC. I'm gonna go down there to the community college. I can't take this $1 million NIL deal. I got to help these politicians save their jobs. That's what I'm here for.
Challenge now, how we rise up again in this era and what we will demand of our democracy. Joining us now is Melissa Mayer, professor of law at New York University and MS Now legal analyst.
Here we go. Another one from New York. Somebody type New York. Somebody from New York. Come on.
She's the author of the brand new and a very, very, very important book, The U.S. Constitution, a comprehensive and annotated guide for the modern reader. Professor Murray, thank you. You and I had some of this conversation in a commercial break last week, and I've been dying to have the rest of this conversation with you. And the Virginia decision.
Let me say this. If you're from New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, oh gosh, Massachusetts, Connecticut, you are so far removed from the South and Southern politics and Southern culture. You're not even qualified to have this conversation about athletes, black folk, and how we're going to perceive the so-called boycott of these major football institutions. But I'm gonna let her speak. Okay, I'm gonna let her speak.
Made it imperative. It's not, I don't know whether to take issue with the Virginia Supreme Court or not. I think the bigger issue is that we are slipping into a place that took a long time to get to, a place of democracy and fairness that took a long time to get to. It's slipping away from us at this point.
It's slipping away.
I think that's exactly right, Ali. And again, it's not one actor, but rather a confluence of actors. And it's not just the Virginia Supreme Court today, but the Virginia Supreme Court acting at the behest of the Republican Party, it would seem, to consolidate partisan advantage in that state. The Republicans across the country consolidating their political power by wiping black electorates off the map at the behest of Donald Trump, who began all of this by insisting upon mid-cycle redistricting. As we've said before, when legislatures sit down to draw their congressional maps, they do so after the decennial census.
Here's the other thing. How do you know some of these black people don't agree with some of these policies of the Republican Party? I'm just throwing that out. I know what the voting said. 86% of black people voted for the Democrats. I get that. But you know there's 21% of black men who voted for the Democrats, about 8% of black women. 21% of black men who voted Republican, 8% of black women voted Republican. And now, maybe it could be, and I'm just going to throw this out here. Maybe some of these black people have realized that, you know, I don't really like the Republicans, generally speaking. I don't like them because, you know, they're racist. But I do like some of the things they're doing. Okay, may not like the way in which they're going about it, but I do like this tough on immigration position. How many black people here in this chat room, shout out to Brian Turner, how many black people in the chat room appreciate the fact that Donald Trump put more law enforcement and more in military personnel on the border to stop the influx of illegal immigrants from all over the world? If you appreciated that, I don't care if you voted for Trump or not. I don't care if you like him. But shout out to Michael J. But if you like the fact that he shut down the southern border, just say yes. If you like that, just say yes. Okay. I'm gonna look at that. If you like the fact that you know, we don't want to get too deep, right? This is just stuff that is affecting us, right? We don't like the price of eggs. Okay, but again, I'm just pointing it out here. Maybe it's some of this stuff that we see Donald Trump doing that we actually like. And for those of you guys who do, maybe that's why we're not out boycotting. Maybe that's why we're resting. Guilt can't get us because 86% of black people voted for Donald Trump. I mean, voted for the Democratic Party. But we don't necessarily have to have voted for him to appreciate the fact that some of these things are helpful to black people. Okay, now I just want to be mindful of that. I'm just saying, you know, we didn't like him, but we did like the fact that he's sending these people home, especially considering that you got a lot of people from these other countries who don't even like black people. Okay, that's the other thing you have to consider. Now I'm gonna let this other video play, and you guys tell me what you think about what some of the other brothers have to say.
Testing against ICE. You know why you're seeing predominantly white people only at these events? It's because back in 2020, the Democrats utilized the black demographic to go out and riot and act a fool. And they said, oh, if you just elect us, we'll give you reparations and we'll force the police to wear body cameras and all these wonderful, amazing things, right? So black people showed up like we are known to do, and we voted up and down for one side of the aisle. And what did we get for it? Nothing as usual, because many of us never learn. But now, here in 2026, we're seeing individuals who were slavishly devoted to the Democrat Party. Now they're seeing the Democrats over their entire 4 years in office under Joe Biden. They went out of their way to ingratiate themselves to illegal immigrants. And they sometimes prioritized illegal immigrants, even in black communities, ahead of black American citizens. And black people are sitting there saying, wait,
we did see that. We did see them prior. Chicago saw that up close and personal, and Chicago didn't like it. That's why Chicago is flirting with turning red. Now, again, they are asking black people to come out specifically. And that's the thing. Just like they're asking black
never done less. So, of course, we're going down in the history books as the worst group of white people that has ever lived in America. We are the most racist group of white people because you don't think our allyship is going to be front and center next to this? Our allyship. Do you see? We are pretending like we understand what's happening, and we're pretending that we are on their side. And this is the worst that it's ever been. Do you get how that works? We're more racist than we've ever been. Is that hard to hear? Do you think the North isn't more segregated than the South? Why is that so hard to hear?
So you don't have to tell us. We already know. Okay, we know who you are. We've been living here for centuries. Okay, we know who you are. You don't have to tell us. Who you telling us to? Okay, we get that. But again, you see a lot of folk coming out, oh, yeah, we're acknowledging that we're racist and blah, 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 this, that, and the other. We get that. We already knew that. We understand that. We beat that out a long time ago. Okay? That's not what we have. We still gonna rest though.
We also have to understand the black.
We don't rest. We still resting. We're not coming off the couch. The couch is comfortable. Okay? The couch is extremely comfortable these days. Okay? That's it. Comfortable. That's what you need to understand.
18 months into what has been from day one a concerted and intense targeting of Black Americans, specifically by this president and by this administration.
What you mean? Well, what about the Samoans? What they just targeting us? We not being rounded up by ICE. I mean, think about that. They are really trying to get black people afraid and geared up to get out. Oh, we're being targeted. No, they're targeting ICE. They're targeting they're targeting illegal immigrants. That's who's being targeted. Okay. The most they did was fire some black folk from some federal jobs. That's what they did. That's what I've seen. Okay, but I have not seen an uptick in police brutality. I've not seen the slave patrol out. They have not specifically targeted black people for taxes. What are you talking about, Rachel Maddow? Fair use.
On his first full day in office, he proclaims war on diversity efforts, not only in...
Okay, diversity efforts help who? Because it doesn't help black people, per se. It helps a lot of white women have won on affirmative action. They're the primary beneficiary of affirmative action. DEI does not even stand for the same thing. DEI includes rainbow people, midgets, turtles, goats, people with prostate monkey hips. It does not include black people. Matter of fact, the black people that you all throw in there are oftentimes illegal immigrants or black immigrants from other countries. What are you talking about, Rachel Maddow? Why are you trying to get black? Which black people are you talking about? You talking about Caribbeans and Africans? Is that who you talking about? Or are you talking about Foundation of Black America? Let's keep listening to this rage baiting. So y'all can hear what I'm talking about.
Government, but in any institution in the country over which he can exert leverage, everything from schools and universities to law firms to private businesses of every stripe. He then immediately started firing some of the highest profile black public officials in the whole U.S.
government. Again, they are trying to make us afraid. Like a black man and a black woman haven't lost their job in America before. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Huh? This is what you call targeting. Maybe it's because they were Democrats and he wanted to get them out of there. Have you thought about that? I'm just saying, I'm just pointing, why are they going? Where is this concerted effort to strike fear in the hearts of black people? You would swear that the sky was falling if you listen to some of these pundits. I've never heard this many people talk about black people and black issues and what black people need and black people's rights are being stripped away. Y'all just had black fatigue. And you weren't talking about this then. You were quiet. Let's keep listening.
Government, seemingly regardless of any other thing about them. I mean, right away, we get the firing of the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Charles C.Q. Brown. We get the firing of the Librarian of Congress, Carla Hayden. And then it's Gwynne Wilcox from the National Labor Relations Board. And then it's Robert Primus, the chair of the Surface Transportation Board. And then it's Alvin Brown from the NTSB. And then it's Peggy Carr, the head of the National Center for Education Statistics. And then it's Willie Phillips from FERC, from the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. And then it's Lisa Cook from the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, and on and on and on. When Trump and his top political donor, Elon Musk, then started just lopping off huge swaths of the federal government to disastrous practical effect.
A bunch of black people in D.C. lost their jobs. That's what you're telling us, Rachel. That's what you're saying. And we're just supposed to be afraid of that. Okay. But I mean, I'm just saying that's all you can find. A lot of people lost their jobs, Rachel. I don't think we're afraid. Okay. Popeye's chicken is hiring. That's all I'm saying. Let's keep listening.
The largest and most egregious cuts targeted federal agencies that employed a disproportionate number of black employees.
Yeah, that's because the federal agencies hire black people and retain black people. DC is a lot of black people there, and that's what most of the federal agencies are. Ma'am, makes sense. Makes sense to me.
Reporter Erica Green wrote about this a few months ago for The Times, noting that nothing had moved backwards in the federal government for black Americans this quickly or this far in over 100 years, since Woodrow Wilson came in 1912 and resegregated the federal workforce. Quote, black employees were fired or demoted to lower level jobs, relegated to separate and inferior lunchrooms and other facilities, and accused
lunchrooms. We back to lunchrooms.
Of making white women feel unsafe. Those who remained were humiliated. A black worker in the Postal Service was surrounded by screens so white workers would not have to look at him. Another employee had a cage built around him to separate him from his white counterparts. A clerk in the Treasury Secretary's office was assigned to rewrite all correspondence to address black employees by their first names, the way Trump addressed the Librarian of Congress, Carla Hayden, by her first name when he crowed publicly about firing her for no reason.
Okay. So again, Again, you see all this fear mongering. They try to make black people afraid. And the question we have to ask ourselves is why? Okay. Again, the NAACP says that we need to boycott the SEC, and I just think it's a dumbass idea. I do. I really do. And I'm going to explain why a little later on. But in the meantime, I want to go ahead and get back to the lesson. All right. Somebody typed the lesson in the chat room. Let's get back to the lesson. All right. We're going to get right back to it. We're going to jump in here. You started off strong. Okay. I explained to you all, when they say black athletes, they're really talking about black male athletes. And what they're really trying to do is appeal to black mothers, all right, who are raising these black athletes. And they want the mothers to influence them because they know that black women have voted predominantly for Democrats. Now, let's talk. Okay. We're going to talk. All right, let's have an honest conversation. And if you learn something, I should earn something. But we need to have an honest conversation about what's really going on. What's really happening. You understand? What's happening. Okay? All right? See, what they're asking these young black men to do is risk their college career for a political decision. See? That's what they're asking them to do. And it doesn't stop with the college decision. Professional sports teams are a business, and these teams invest millions of dollars in players, and they pay attention to public behavior and public comments and social media posts and what they may perceive as distractions and politics and interviews and character narrative. Look what happened to Colin Kaepernick. He was blackballed for taking a knee, a protest against police brutality. And what about Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf? You guys remember him? Mahmoud Abdul? He got suspended from the NBA in 1996 after he refused to stand for the national anthem, and he lost millions. I remember him. Shout out to Fuquan. What about Shedeur Sanders? Shedeur, just recently, 2025 NFL draft position. Dropped because of a pre-draft process, and these narratives around his character and image and interviews became part of the discussion. So look here. So why would anybody pretend this kind of political decision won't affect and follow a player? It will. It's going to become part of his file. It's going to become part of the conversation about him. You know, it's going to be something that's brought up in the draft rooms. Is this player focused on football, or is he going to bring political controversy into the building? Is he going to divide the locker room? Is he going to make ownership uncomfortable? Now, people can say that's unfair, but the sports world is full of unfair business practice. And that's why it's reckless to tell these young black men to play politics with their athletic futures. No matter how talented they are, nobody is bigger than the program. Especially now that the American leagues are global. The NFL has expanded its international recruitment efforts out to international players. They got international player pathways. They just drafted a bunch of Nigerians in the NFL recently. Never played football. And we all know the NBA has a long been a global enterprise with international stars. Major League Baseball has an enormous international pipeline from DR, Venezuela, Japan. So if a young black American athlete wants to play politics, you best believe there are other athletes around the world who want that spot and who won't carry any political baggage when they get in it. And that doesn't mean black athletes should be absolutely silent about everything, but it does mean that they need to understand the cost before somebody convinces them to make a permanent business decision based on a temporary political campaign. And the politician who benefits from the sacrifice, he ain't never gonna call them. Organizations like the NAACP, they praise him, but they're not gonna pay any bills. And the people who told him he was brave and, you know, they're gonna just move on to the next campaign and he's gonna be sent back home. You know, but that athlete is gonna have to live with the consequences of the decision. He still has to answer the question about why he inserted himself into a political fight and the team owner and the coach and some general manager is going to make a decision that he might be too much trouble. And that's the part that makes this a problem. The NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, okay, in this campaign, they're not asking colored people to boycott. See, this request is not falling evenly on people of color either. It's not even falling on black people evenly. This is landing on young black men who are athletes. Now, they're not going to replace the NIL deal. They certainly are not going to replace a scholarship. They definitely won't replace a draft slot. They won't replace a contract. They won't put food on his table. They won't buy his mother a home. They won't lift his family out of poverty. But you asking these young black men who are oftentimes teenagers, young boys, you asking them to gamble their future so politicians can keep power. And so the answer to that is no. We're not going to do it. You're not going to guilt us into doing it either. Every time there's a civil rights fight, a voting rights issue, a so-called threat to democracy, black people are the first ones asked to sacrifice. Black voters are told to show up. Black churches are told to organize. Black women are told to come save the election. And black men, we told to shut up and vote like we tell you to. You know that. But if this is supposed to be a broader civil rights issue, then what are the other minority groups being asked to sacrifice? Where are the Vietnamese? Where are the Koreans? Okay? What are they going to sacrifice? Where are the Latinos? Where are the Samoans? Where are the Tongans at? Where are the Filipinos at? All these other groups benefit from these liberal policies, typically voted for by Democratic elected politicians in Washington, D.C. In other words, what I'm asking is where are all these other colored folks at? Because when people use language like people of color and minority communities and marginalized communities, groups, and coalition politics, they're usually asking black people to stand under a bigger umbrella. You see? We getting squished in. But see, when it's time to take risk, when it's time to give up something, including your money, your wealth, your livelihood, and your life, or to absorb the cost, the pressure always comes back to Black America. So are we in a real coalition, or are black people just the frontline soldiers for the cause? See, if this fight is about voting rights, why aren't these other people of color, these minority communities, being asked to make the same kind of economic sacrifice as they're asking our young black athletes? Why aren't their athletes being called out? Why aren't their families being told to redirect their children to other schools? Why aren't their donors and alumni groups and business owners and churches and civic organizations and professional associations being asked to put something meaningful on the line too? Coalition can't mean black people sacrifice while all these other colored folk reap the benefits. Coalition can't mean black people take the political risk while everybody else sit back and watch. Coalition, that does not mean black pain becomes an emotional fuel for campaigns that other groups support from a safe distance. I want to know what these other minority groups are going to sacrifice before we do a damn thing. Not what statement they're going to be asked to sign. Not what hashtag they're going to post. I want to know what they're going to give up. What risk are they taking? What money are they being asked to redirect? What institutions are they being asked to pressure? What risk are they being asked to take? What opportunities are they being asked to walk away from? Because you're asking a lot of us. See, black people have carried the moral weight of American civil rights for generations. And we've been the example, the warning, the labor, the voters, the marchers, the organizers, the conscience of this country. But we're not the only minority group in America. We shouldn't be the only group expected to bleed for every political cause. And these people organizing this campaign need to answer some questions. I have questions. Is this a black only sacrifice for a broader political goal? Because that's what it sounds like. Because see, if the burden is only placed on black people, then that's black exploitation dressed up like civil rights work. And here's the other cold part about it, man. Black people aren't even the largest minority group anymore. Hispanics got us beat by damn near 20 million people. They have 65 million people. Black people have 48.3 million people, and that's in 2023. So Asian American households, they got the money. Did I tell y'all the median household income is $121,700? Now the average black household, $56,000. Hispanics got more money coming in than us, $71,000. And largely it's because a lot of black people, black women especially, they single. Hispanic people, they put their money together, so they have $70,000. White folk, they got $92,530. Did I tell you the Asians have $121,000? So they have the money. They beating everybody. And here's the cold part about it. The median income increased by 5.1% for Asians. It increased by 5.5% for Hispanic households between 2023 and 2024. But black households, it dropped by 3.3%. So we are not the majority minority. We don't have the most money coming in every month. Okay? But yet you still calling us specifically. Again, the Asians got the money. And they are colored folk. So why is the pressure on black athletes and black families and black alumni and black consumers in the NAACP's own out of bounds campaign? Look, the POC coalition is all in when they're talking about benefits, but they disappear when it's time to sacrifice. When it's time to talk about diversity and everybody gets included in that. When they passing out grants and want to claim moral authority, everybody stands under the same umbrella. But when it's time to get socked up and water hosed and beat down and risk it all, black people are ushered to the front of the line. It's all first Sunday, and the usher boy saw you come in. Last seats in the front. You get ushered right. Come on, blacks. Come on here and get this beat down. These billy clubs are waiting for the sides of your head. Again, I refuse to let black people become the default sacrifice class every civil rights campaign. I refuse to do that. I'm not going to sit by and let it happen. I'm going to say something. We black families shouldn't be asked to carry the emotional and financial and political risk alone. Don't just ask black parents to rethink their children's opportunities. Don't just ask black consumers to redirect our dollars. Ask everybody in this so-called people of color coalition, that what are they willing to give up? Black people will not be used ever again for free. When the movement needs bodies and votes and money and passions and sacrifice, not for free. If black people are the only ones being asked to pay the price, then that's not coalition politics. Okay, that's black sacrifice again being marketed as collective justice. Look here, man. This is not 1955. The NAACP's boycott isn't really about black people being told they can't vote. The real issue is vote dilution. Let's learn something. And I'm going to say that in plain English. Black people can still vote. Okay, but our votes may be placed in districts where we don't have enough power to elect a black politician. Okay? See, this is about congressional maps. Every census, this is how it's supposed to work. Every time they take a census, which is every 10 years, the states are supposed to redraw the voting districts. And that usually happens, like I said, every 10 years. It coincides with the census. But now some of these states are trying to redraw the maps in the middle of the decade after the court fight in the Supreme Court in this major Supreme Court decision. It's unusual. It's not unheard of, but it's unusual. Okay? But it's not impossible. That's what's going on. Now, these black districts are being cracked. Somebody type cracked. They're being cracked apart and spread out into some of the surrounding white voting districts. And it's actually called cracking. And instead of keeping enough black voters together in one district where they can elect a black candidate, okay, these white Republican lawmakers down south have split those black voters up and put them in mostly white districts. Black voters can still vote, okay, but our votes will be drowned out by larger white voting groups, and that usually they vote differently. We know that. So again, this isn't about black people losing the right to vote like 1950 or something like that. Couldn't vote without getting harassed at the polls. What this really is about, they're trying to say it's about black people losing the power to elect a black candidate, if that's what we prefer. And that's the heart of the complaint, because of the Supreme Court, it came from the fact that the Supreme Court ruled against the Democrats in Louisiana v. Callis. And see, and that's what brought about this boycott. So the NAACP is saying that these new maps will weaken black political power. And what that means is this: black districts are broken up. Some black politicians are going to lose their jobs. Black candidates who used to win easily because they had strong black voting power, they just going to have to work harder if they want to win. And they might not win. You're going to have to get a job. And see, now you see, that's why the NAACP is targeting targeting college sports. They're saying Southern public universities shouldn't keep making money off black athletes and black fans and black alumni and black culture, while their state governments are rearranging the districts of so-called black politicians, right? Okay, which used to come easy to these people. The goal of the boycott is to pressure these same southern states, Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, South Carolina, Texas, right? To quote unquote protect black voting power, right? They really want to restore the congressional maps how they work. So again, this is not about football. It's not like they're asking you to protest football because black athletes are, receiving health issues like concussions, et cetera, et cetera. This is about politics. Are they trying to use college sports because college sports makes money, it gets attention, and it depends heavily on black athletes and black fans? Now, again, one of the biggest problems with this NAACP out of bounds campaign is that it targets these southern states without clearly explaining what black families are supposed to do next. I want you to listen to me now. And that matters because the South isn't some outside place disconnected from black America. The South is the center of black American life, okay? Most black Americans live down south. And here's the other thing: most HBCUs are in the South. Much of our history and culture, churches, families, businesses, political power, educational institutions are rooted in the South. So when the NAACP says black athletes and black families should withhold support from public universities in these southern states, the first question should be withhold support and go where? Go where? If a black family lives in Georgia or Alabama or Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, Florida, Tennessee, or California, you want them to go to USC? You want them to go to the Ohio State? That's a long way. They might not have the money to send their child up there. All these athletes are not on scholarship. They might be staying in state so that they can pay lower tuition and have access to scholarships. More importantly, family support. You know how hard it is to pack a kid up and move him out of a dorm room every damn semester and then send him back? Oh, hell no. People don't have money like that. You live in it, you right down the street from Georgia, you take an Uber over there. But see, the thing is, if they're being told not to attend certain schools in their own state, that may mean paying out-of-state tuition somewhere else, moving farther away from supportive family, or giving up opportunities they already had laid out for them. And see, here's the thing, the issue gets even more complicated because many of the HBCUs are located in these same southern states. So the message has to be extremely clear. Are they asking Black families to boycott all schools in these states? Are they asking them to boycott only certain public universities? Are they asking them to boycott only athletic programs? Are you asking Black athletes not to play for the SEC, the ACC schools, but to redirect their talent to the HBCUs? See, those are completely different things. Now, if the campaign means don't support major public athletic programs, that profit from Black athletes, while their state governments, that's the issue. Don't support them. But see, if the campaign sounds like don't support schools in these states, that creates confusion because that's what it sounds like. Okay. Many of these schools that serve Black students are also in the same states. Because let me tell you something. I want to tell y'all something now. Tell you something right now. Somebody type right now. Southern University is one of the most important HBCUs in America. It's one of the biggest HBCUs in America. And it sits right in the heart of North Baton Rouge. It sits right in the heart of North Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So are they saying boycott Southern? Are they saying don't support Southern University athletes? Are they saying don't support the Bayou Classic? Because they make a lot of money in New Orleans for the Bayou Classic. Grambling too. Are they saying don't support the very HBCU institutions that Black people built, funded, defended, and loved for generations? Because if that's what they're saying, then I'm gonna tell you right now, you got a problem. I'm telling you that as a proud Southern University graduate of the law school, Southern University isn't just another school to us. That campus is sacred ground. That tradition means something. The alumni base means something. The marching band means something. The football program means something. The Bayou Classic means something. Southern generates attention, culture, pride, tourism, and a whole lot of money for Louisiana every year through its games and its alumni, and especially through the Bayou Classic. So if the NAACP message is unclear enough that people could interpret it as don't support schools in these states, then they've already failed the first test of leadership, and that's clarity. I'm gonna tell you right now, if anybody thinks Southern University alumni are gonna stop supporting Southern University because the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People rolled out a boycott message that wasn't clear, they don't know Southern University very well at all. They don't know Baton Rouge, and they don't know HBCU culture. They don't know Black college loyalty, and they damn sure don't know what happens when SU alumni drive over that hump. Somebody type the hump in the chat room. Somebody type the hump. When they see the hump, when they see after riding on I-10 and taking that little swervy street, right, that little 110 to take you up through Scotlandville, they drive over that hump and they see those Southern, they see that basketball stadium, they see the A.A. Mumford Stadium. When they drive over the hump, ain't nobody thinking about the NAACP and what they said, but ain't boycotting the damn thing. They thinking about Southern, they thinking about homecoming, they thinking about the Bluff, they thinking about the Human Jukebox, they're thinking about the Bayou Classic, they're thinking about this is the first time I brought my child or my spouse with me to my school. They're thinking about our history, our people, our institution. You kidding me? You give a damn about the NAACP and what the NAACP is talking about. At all. Not at all. This is me on the hump. Let me show y'all something. This is in the Baton Rouge newspaper. This is 1997. I was a first-year law school student. at Southern University Law School. This is me right there studying on the bluff. Some of y'all might remember that bench. You understand that? They took that and put it in the newspaper, and I said, I just like coming out here. I don't give a damn about what the NAACP is talking about. Now, this is me in my second year of law school, out there standing with, you can't see my head, but I'm out there standing with the people protesting against environmental racism. You can't see, I had to get a better, but this is so sad. This is sad. That's so sad. I got to do better. I had it all set up. But anyway, you get the point. We have heritage there. We have history there. You understand? These are institutes, and the message is not quite clear. And they're not telling us enough. You're not speaking to us enough. And again, it's not just about Southern University, because whether you go to Alabama, A&T, Texas Southern, Dillard, whatever, we feel the same way. So what are you all talking about? You can't tell black people to pull away from Southern public university without explaining how that affects black students and who live in those states. You understand? You can't tell black athletes to walk away from big time athletic programs without explaining where they're supposed to go and who's supposed to support them, and whether HBCUs are prepared to receive them with the same scholarship money and NIL money and facilities and exposure and career opportunity. Because a lot of families, this isn't about politics. This is about tuition and debt. It's about transportation and housing. This is scholarship money. This is whether their child can stay close to home. This is whether their child gets to seen by scouts and whether the family can afford a college at all. So the Southern state problem is the NAACP is targeting the same region where Black America lives, learns, worships, works, and sends its children to school. That means the boycott can't just be a slogan. It needs to be a plan. It needs to be a clear target. That's reckless for you all to get on the internet and just tell these people don't go to schools in Southern states without giving them a profit. What idiot at the NAACP in headquarters in New York City came up with this dumbass idea? I'm sorry, excuse the language, okay? But you all need to tell people exactly which schools are being targeted, which schools aren't being targeted, and what black families are supposed to do instead. Otherwise, the burden falls back on the ordinary black families who are already trying to survive, and the politicians in the universities. Y'all feel the pressure, but the immediate sacrifice is going to be these black parents and black athletes and black students who are being asked to give up affordable options in the very state they call home. And let me just keep it 100 with you since we talk about HBCUs. I'm a two-time HBCU graduate, Grambling and Southern. That was a hell of a conflict. Who do I root for in the Bayou Classic? I don't ever root against Southern. You see? I'm happy either team when I won either way. Hell, my wife is an HBCU graduate. My ex-wife was an HBCU graduate. In the very near future, my son is going to be an HBCU graduate. So nobody can say I'm anti-HBCU. Nobody can say I don't understand the value of HBCUs. Nobody can say I don't respect the history and our culture and the role that HBCUs have played in Black America. These other institutions are not, these predominantly white institutions are not equipped to do the job HBCUs do. They can't educate the number of black people that HBCUs have and send us out into the workforce. My family is living proof that I believe in HBCUs, but here's a major difference between sending a student to an HBCU for a law degree or a medical degree or education and asking an elite level 4-star, 5-star recruit black athlete to put his athletic future on the line as part of a political protest. My son isn't going to a HBCU as a 5-star quarterback with the possibility of getting multi-million-dollar NIL deal and being looked at for the NFL or the NBA or some major league. Not these older ones. Now that little one, he might go. His boy gonna be about 6'9". He might go. But the bottom line is that's what matters. For a regular student, the question is education, is culture, is community, it's degree completion, and opportunity. But for elite Black male athletes, the question is also about exposure and player development and facilities and strength training and nutrition, sports medicine, television coverage, NIL deals, draft preparation, professional scouting, and whether that school can help turn a short athletic window into generational wealth. Those are two different conversations. And this is where people need to stop playing games. We're going to stop playing these games. HBCUs have value, but most HBCU athlete programs don't have the infrastructure like the SEC, the ACC, the Big 10, the Big 12. They don't have the NBA pipeline. They don't have the NFL pipeline. They don't have the MLB pipeline. They don't have the same television network or booster systems or NIL collectives and business operations or facilities. They don't have the media, the machine, or the national recruiting power and track record of taking elite athletes and consistently turning them into first-round draft picks and national stars, multimillionaires, and pretending otherwise. That doesn't help HBCUs or Black athletes. Look what happened to Deion Sanders at Jackson State. Shout out to Jackson State. Deion brought attention, energy, media coverage. He brought recruits. He brought belief. He brought excitement. He showed what was possible when star power met an HBC program. But even Deion Sanders eventually left J-State. He went to Colorado. And whether people liked the decision or hated it, it exposed a bigger issue. One man's fame wasn't enough to erase that infrastructure gap. And Deion Sanders, with the NFL credibility and celebrity status, relationships, media reach, and recruiting power, he couldn't fully overcome the gap by himself. He couldn't do it. If he couldn't do it, how you going to get a regular HBCU athletic department to carry the weight of a national boycott without serious money planning and infrastructure? You understand what I'm saying? Let's do some numbers. The NFL salary cap is $300 million per team. It's actually $301.2 million per team. And that means the league is built around billions of dollars in player compensation across the whole league. And the 2025 NFL rookie minimum salary, minimum, $840,000. So even the lowest paid rookie on the active roster is close to becoming a millionaire in one season before taxes and expenses. The NBA is even more. Even the 15th pick in the 2025 draft was supposed to get $3.8 million. That's damn near $4 million first year. And many first-round picks make several million more dollars than that. Major League, $5.3 billion. Their payroll is $5.32 billion in 2025. You understand? I mean, these American professional ball leagues have created real life. I mean, they got life-changing money for athletes, Black athletes and their families. They've created millionaires, generational wealth, homes, businesses, investments, foundations, financial freedom for families that may have come from nothing. They said that there's an estimate that 7% of the world's millionaires are athletes. And a large percentage of those millionaires are Black American athletes who play in professional sports. And most of them didn't go or attend a HBCU. They got it through major college sports and colleges and business machines and NFL, NBA, and MLB contracts. And that's even before the pro debut. You got the public NIL valuation. So you have a lot of these elite college athletes, they can get in, they can make millions of dollars, largely from football and basketball programs. So when we talk about telling young Black athletes, specifically young Black men, to walk away from a major program, we're not talking about symbolic choice. We're talking about multi-million-dollar decision. We're talking about a young Black man who may be trying to change his mama's life, buy his grandmother a house, get his siblings through school, or become the first person in the family with some real wealth. How many millionaires has the NAACP made? Huh? How many millionaires has the NAACP made compared to the NBA, the NFL, and the MLB? I'm not trying to disrespect the NAACP and the legal defense firm run by Thurgood Marshall. He's largely the reason I went to law school. Okay. Speaking of which, if you've been involved in a motor vehicle accident, I need you to call me now, since we talk about don't boycott me. Okay. Don't boycott me. You can reach me at 713-229-0770. Since we're talking about black lawyers, I'm one of them. All right. I am a Hall of Fame attorney according to the Southern University Law Center. I'm licensed in 6 states, good standing. I have wonderful, wonderful people who will speak for me, and you know, I lots of recommendations online. So again, if you've been involved in a motor vehicle accident, contact me at 713. It doesn't really matter what state. I got friends and associates all over. As you all can imagine, I'm a very popular attorney. A lot of my friends contact me when they have issues. I typically have a boutique law practice. I'm not going to be a Morgan & Morgan. You actually, when you deal with people like that, hey, if that's what you like, that's fine. But with me, you're going to get personal attention. You're going to get my 100%. I'm going to know your name. I'm going to know what happened to you. I'm going to know something about your relatives and your daily life, because I get really involved in my clients' cases. You know, as you can see, I'm a stickler for detail, even taking some of these broad subjects and breaking them down so people can listen. And that's one of my fortes. I'm easy to talk to. And, you know, I know the law is a complicated subject, but you know, that's why I'm still here after, 26 years. It'd be 30. I'm working on 30 years of practicing law. Don't I look handsome? Speaking of which, let me not get off subject too big, but y'all make sure you call me at 713-229-0770 if you need an attorney. Now, you guys know about January, my wife put me on a diet. Okay. I didn't want to go on a diet. I like being big and strong. It works great doing football. I mean, it worked great doing football, but also is really good for jiu-jitsu. And you guys may know I'm a purple belt. Somebody type purple belt in the chat room. And I don't want to get too far off the subject, but speaking of which, because it's health. All right. I'm being an advocate for black men. Ladies, if you have a husband, right, tell them to come up here. I went from 319, okay, and I'm down to 293.2 pounds. How about that? Be Slim D. Now I'm tall, right? So most people can't tell, but yeah, Uncle D is slimming up. My goal is to get down to 250, baby. That's gonna be my player weight. Somebody type player weight in the chat. Uncle B is down slim 250. Okay. But yeah, so I'm you know, my wife cooks these meals for me. I got 3 meals a day. She puts in a little plastic box and I eat them. So shout out to her. Thank you so much. So yeah, I'm feeling good. I had to get that blood pressure under control. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, so from 319 in January to 293 pounds and 293.2. That's pretty good. But anyway, yeah, you guys make sure you monitor your health, brothers. You got to get checked out. Now, again, let's get back to the subject matter. Okay. How many millionaires has the NAACP made? Okay. And I'm not disrespecting them at all. They've done great work, great civil rights work, political organizing, scholarships. That's important work. But that's not the same as an NBA contract that's producing thousands of professional contracts and endorsement deals and salaries and pensions. There's no public evidence that the NAACP has made black people millionaires at any close to that scale as these professional sports teams. And that's why this boycott can't be treated like a simple moral command. You're asking young black athletes and their families to potentially give up access to the very system that has created more black millionaires than most any other industry in America. And you're asking them to do that for free. And you're doing it for some raggedy black politician so he can keep their job after redistricting. That's what you asked him to do. Somebody type raggedy in the chat room. Raggedy and selfish. Why should this generation of black athletes be a political experiment? Why should we allow them to be used as pawns in some political fight without a clear plan, real money, and guaranteed support? If the NAACP wants black athletes to redirect their talents to schools outside of these southern states, then where's the NIL money? Where's the television deals? Where are the booster networks and the facilities? Where are the business partnerships? Where are the legal protections? Where's the professional development pipeline? Where's the proof that these young men won't lose exposure, money, career opportunities by participating? Before we ask these young men who worked their whole life to sacrifice their futures, we need to set up something comparable enough to receive them. Otherwise, we're not protecting black athletes. We're experimenting with them. Specifically, we're experimenting with the lives of young black men. And since the purpose of this experiment is to save these black politicians' jobs, then we need to be honest enough to say it out loud. I mean, let's look at the fact tuition. This is real. I'm paying tuition for my son. Okay, the NAACP says this campaign is aimed at public schools. Somebody type public. You know what that means? Public schools in southern states. That's what they said, right? Public schools in southern states, and that it says are attacking black voting rights. Its own campaign says it's calling black athletes, their families, alumni, fans to withhold financial support for these public universities in these southern states. Notice what they're not saying. Somebody type not saying in the chat room. What are they not saying? They didn't say don't send your kids to private schools in the South, did they? They're not saying don't send them to Tulane or Loyola New Orleans or Rice University or Baylor or TCU or SMU or Miami. They're not saying don't send them to Duke, Wake Forest or Vanderbilt, are they? They're not saying that. And here's the thing, Vanderbilt matters because Vandy is a private university in Tennessee, and that is part of the SEC, the only one. So if the issue is really southern states, black athletes and schools benefiting from black athletic talent, why are the private schools being treated differently? Why is Vanderbilt, Rice, or Vanderbilt in Tennessee, and Rice in Texas, and Tulane and Loyola in Louisiana, and Miami in Florida, and Duke and Wake Forest in North Carolina, and Baylor and TCU and SMU in Texas? Why these schools don't all play the same kind of big football as the SEC public school, but you heard of them. Everybody knows about Duke basketball, right? They're all Southern institutions. They still benefit from athletics. And a lot of them benefit from black athletes. So why are they being left out? That sounds fishy to me. If the moral argument is that Southern institutions shouldn't benefit from black athletes while black voting power is being weakened, then why does the argument stop at public universities? I need somebody from the National Association of Colored People to come explain that to me. Because see, my hunch tells me that it's because these private institutions are treated as part of the liberal elite education class. It's because they don't represent the same political target. Because see, a Rice University is not a Tulane University is not a LSU. And a Rice University is not a Texas A&M. So is this really about Southern institutions, or is it more about putting pressure on certain public schools tied to Republican-led state governments? That's all I'm asking. I'm just asking questions. Are you learning something? Because I'm learning a lot. You give it a little thought. And see, that matters because regular black families are the ones who have to deal with the money loss. If a black student lives in Texas, in Georgia, or Florida, Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, or South Carolina, and a public university in that state is more affordable and it's his option, why wouldn't he take it? You got in-state tuition is going to be a little cheaper than out-of-state tuition. And we're not talking about a few dollars with that. We're talking about thousands of dollars per semester, tens of thousands of dollars over 4 years. So if the NAACP is telling black families not to send their kids, their young children, to certain public universities in the same states where they already live, then the question is simple. Who's supposed to pay the difference? Are they asking black families to leave the state? Are they asking them to pay out-of-state tuition? Are they asking them to give up state scholarships? Are they asking them to take on more debt? Because that's not a small sacrifice. That's a major financial decision. And if the answer is, well, they can go to private schools, then say that plainly. But see, then private schools are far more expensive. And most black families can't just casually come up with tuition for Tulane and Rice, and Vanderbilt and Duke and Wake Forest and Baylor and TCU and SMU. They acting like money doesn't matter. What family do you know in Florida can afford to pay the tuition for Miami and they got a young athlete? So are these regular black families supposed to take on more debt for political protests while these private Southern schools get it passed? See, that's the problem with these slogans. That's the problem with these slogans. Slogans don't pay tuition, man. Slogans don't replace lost scholarships, and slogans don't pay for housing and books and meal plans and plane tickets and bus tickets and student loan interest. So before anybody pressures black families into making an expensive education decision, they need to answer some questions. What's the cost? Who's paying it? And why are black families being asked to carry it while private Southern institutions are left out of the conversation? Look here. Y'all heard what I had to say. I really think I've said enough on this subject, and we don't need to belabor the point. So what I'm going to do is let y'all sit with this, and I'm extending an open invitation to that organization, that NAACP, that discusses, who's there for the advancement of colored people. We black people, somebody type, we black people, we want to know, what are we getting for this boycott? And why aren't the rest of the colored people participating in it? Now, big shout out to Kareem Sharif. Look who they are calling to save the government. Jobs. Not the LGBT, not the immigrants, not Hollywood. Young foundational black American men. Ain't that something? See, you all might have missed earlier when I said that when they say black athletes, who they really talking about are young black male athletes. That's what they're really talking about. They talk about young black men, and I put the numbers up there. The majority, was it like 2.4% of the black athletes? Shout out to Jeffrey Izzard. Thank you for the Cash App. And shout out to Patricia Hightower. Thank you so much, baby. Y'all really like this? That's cool. I appreciate y'all. And but I want to make sure I give a shout out to the Cash App crew. So what they're really talking about is young black men, teenage black men making sacrifices. That's what they're talking about. Okay. Where are all these other people at? Where are all these colored people at? And we got 19 super chats. Let's see if we can get 20. If you learn something, you don't owe me anything. If you learn something, I should earn something. That's the deal I make with you all. But if you don't have it, that's fine, baby. Appreciate y'all anyway. Steel Wings, shout out to you. Aaron Gibbs, 3213. Ben Brockton, thank you for the membership. The Greek, good looking out. I always learn something, brother. God bless. Hey, man, God bless you too, man. That's so sweet. Thank you, baby. I appreciate that. That is awesome. Thank you for the blessings. I need all the prayers I can get. Trust me. I thank you all so much. My man, Michael J, 4755. I'm learning. That's cool, man. That's cool. Also, preach, Dennis. Where are SEC universities and liberal white students? It's time for their sacrifice after making billions of dollars off the backs of black athletes. The black athletes should boycott by attending class only. That's what they're asking us to do. It's crazy as hell, man. For nothing in return. When the NBA players went on strike due to wanting a crime bill during COVID, they sent Obama down there to talk to them into ending the strike. Yeah, he's a so-called pro-union. How ironic. I know. Crazy. Who else we got? Keep teaching them, Jag. I will. SU. I will, baby. Who else we got in here? Melvinia McDonald. I bet you I'm Melvinia McDonald. You know, I bet you got something to say. Thank you for all that you do to educate Black America and keep us informed. Man, I just try to, because I don't really have an agenda, I can look at stuff and, nobody's paying me. Okay. The only people paying me are you all. Y'all are not paying that much, but I appreciate y'all paying. So again, if you've been involved in a car accident, I'm gonna need to help. Y'all need to pay me that way. See that number on the bottom? I'm gonna actually get a commercial. Next time, I'm gonna film a commercial in my office. Okay, because I don't want you all to think I'm one of these people that's out here pretending like they got their degrees from the University of Cuba or something like that. I don't want y'all to do me like that. Okay, I got all my certifications. You can go to my college right now. It's called Grambling State University. You can go there. It's still open right there. You can go down there to the registrar's office, and I'm right there. Matter of fact, you can go to Southern University right now. And when you walk in the hall, when you walk through the Southern University Law Center, okay, if you walk in the atrium, you look to the right, they got me just like that, just smiling, just like that. Because I'm on the Hall of Fame. It's really a wall of fame. Okay, you can see me. People know me. Some of your professors went to school with me. I ain't faking. Okay, I didn't get my degrees from Cuba. I got my degrees from Louisiana, both North and South. Okay, just so you know. But again, I'm gonna have to do a commercial so I can make sure y'all call me when you've been involved in the car. Speaking of which, let me put this Cash App back up here. Cash App is popping. Shout out to everybody who contributed to the Cash App. My man Fuquan, thank you for the $10. My man Big J, they want Black athletes to sacrifice exposure and potentially a lot of money just to save their jobs. He said their seats. I'm gonna say jobs. But ask yourself, what has the Dem done for Black people before the map changes? This is how low key. Yeah, what have they actually done that makes us motivated to save their job? You ain't did nothing. You broke up Black families. You got everybody hooked on welfare. You made promises you couldn't keep. Now you got a bunch of kickbacks. Most of y'all been in the Senate too long, and you've been in the Congress too long anyway. You ain't did nothing for us. Shout out to my man Fuquan again. He came back with the 10. Also, D-Jar V6K. Thank you so much, fam. And then who else we got? Philosophical Truth Wisdom. Thank you for the $1.99. It's not a dumb idea, and more things like this should be done. Man, please. You got to pay more, brother. I appreciate the $1.99, but I can't read all that. The acronyms do better. But I appreciate your input. Thank you so much. Throw DC in there too. They swear it's the South. No, DC not. Shout out to DC, but it's not the South. Y'all are not down here. Sitting this one out, done being used. Amen to that, Michael J. My man Fuquan is back. We got 20 super chats up in here. Who else we got in here? Let me see here. I think Big J again came through. Brilliant broadcast tonight. I'm so glad you covered this. And plus, you broke it down and articulated perfectly. Salute. Good looking out. Thank you, everybody. Everybody get the hand clap. Thank you. So, you know what I like to do? I like to bring it on home. Somebody type, bring it on home. I'm bring it on home. Usually I'm a lot more long-winded to this, but we're gonna get this thing wrapped up inside of 3 hours. Okay. Now here's the thing. Let's break it down. Okay. Let's at this point, okay. Black families have to ask ourselves, okay, why are we always the ones being told to give something up? Okay. Every generation, there's another demand placed on us in the name of the largest struggle. We're told to march and boycott and vote and donate and organize and forgive and be patient and take the risks. Absorb the cost, stand in the gap. And now, once again, black families are being asked to sacrifice. But sacrifice what exactly? And for whose benefit? And that's a lot to ask a black family, a black American family to sacrifice. Parents are already trying to protect our kids and pay bills and keep food on the table and keep kids educated and keep them safe and help them build a future in a country where nothing comes easy. And so when an organization like the NAACP says we need to stand, we need you to stand up for us, the cause, black families have every right to ask a question. What does that stand cost us? Because if sacrifice sounds noble when somebody else is asking for it, but when it's your child, somebody type my child, everybody who has a child, they're asking your child to take less for everybody. And everybody's not going to do for your child. Everybody didn't do for your child. You did for your child. It's going to be your money, your opportunity, your future, and your family on the line. And see, that's when the sacrifice becomes real. And see, that's where that emotional pill has to be challenged. You can't wrap something in civil rights language and expect black people to automatically fall in line. We've done that for decades. We showed up and carried the movements and defended the politicians and saved political parties and protected institutions and put our interests last. But at some point, the question has to be asked, when do black families get to stop being the emergency fund for everybody's political fight? If the protest requires sacrifice, then the sacrifice need to be shared by all the people calling for it. It can't just fall on the young black male athlete. It can't just fall on the mother, the single mother who raised that young black male athlete and got him up through school. It can't just fall on the father trying to keep his child from drowning in debt. It can't just fall on the student who has one chance to turn his athletic talent into opportunity. And so if a civil rights organization as powerful and long-standing as the NAACP wants black families to sacrifice, right, then that organization need to show what they're sacrificing is to. Where's the money? Where's the protection? Where's the guarantee? Where's the skin in the game? Because without this becomes another situation where black people carry the moral burden while the other people of color get the political benefit. We tired of that. See, these speeches sound good. But see, the real burden lands on ordinary black people like the people listening to me right now. And that's why they're here. People don't have the luxury of making symbolic decisions with real life consequences. It lands on parents and students trying to build something for themselves. And that's why the question is so powerful. That's a lot to ask a black American family to sacrifice. It brings the conversation back to reality too. Before you ask us to give up any damn thing else, explain exactly what you're asking everybody else to give up, who's going to benefit from it, and how long this sacrifice is supposed to last, and what black families are supposed to do and receive in return, because black people shouldn't be treated like an unlimited resource. We are tired. Our time is not unlimited. Our money is not unlimited. And our patience is not unlimited. And our children's future are definitely unlimited. So before anybody tells black folk, black families to sacrifice again, they need to answer that basic question. Why is the burden always placed on us first? Why are black families always expected to prove our loyalty to the cause by giving something up? And why are the people asking for the sacrifice so rarely the ones paying the highest price? Now, let's bring it on home. Let's take it down south. After all this weighing this out, after listening to everything and looking at all the videos, and I'm gonna just tell you from my honest perception, this is a dumbass idea. A boycott only works when people believe the benefit outweighs the sacrifice. The Montgomery bus boycott, it worked because everybody was suffering. If you were black during segregation, it didn't matter if you were rich, poor, tall, short, fat, skinny, ugly, pretty, handsome, long hair, short hair, light skin, dark skin, big nose, slim nose. You still had to sit your butt in the back section with the colored folk. Everybody felt the humiliation. Everybody felt the burden. So everybody bought into the sacrifice because everybody understood the mission. But this situation is completely different. The only people being asked to sacrifice here are the young black male athletes who play these sports and the people who love these sports and love them. That's it. And let me break something down for you. Down south, football and basketball aren't games. That's heritage, especially football. It's culture. This is family. This is community. This is what people gather around every Saturday afternoon. This is a father bonding with his sons, his mother's cheering for their babies. This is cousins, neighborhoods, classmates, church members, old teammates, all gathering around the TV to watch somebody from the city, their parish, their county, or their neighborhood stood up in a major program. People in some of these other states y'all don't understand that you sitting up there in New York or New Jersey with your weak ass football culture. You think this boycott makes sense. You don't understand Southern football culture because you don't live in it. You haven't built your weekends around this for generations. But down south, football is everything. Little kids in Baton Rouge growing up dreaming going to LSU. It's kids in Dallas, Texas right now dreaming of going in the NFL. Kids in Alabama, Mississippi growing up wanting to be in the SEC. That's a dream, and it starts when they're children. And now you asking these young black boys specifically to walk away from their dream so some greedy ass politician can keep his goddamn job. That's a dumbass idea. Now, my question at this point, now that we've established this dumbass idea, which dummy inside the NAACP headquarters in New York City thought this was a good idea? Who did y'all run this by? Because whoever came up with this clearly did not understand Southern culture, the foundation of Black American culture, which is Southern culture. So I'm asking, what first generation Black immigrant tether-minded liberal arts, Ivy League, DEI sanctioned university political science grad with the last name that not any of us can pronounce or understand, which one of y'all came up with this idea? You don't know what it means to sit outside on a Saturday afternoon, barbecue smoke in the air, loud ass kids running around playing football in an abandoned parking lot with more dirt and dust and grass. Somebody wearing their favorite jersey, carrying the ball, imitating their favorite sports player. Bo Jackson, Herschel Walker, Emmitt Smith, beast mode. Or just something as simple as a family locked in watching LSU play Florida, or Alabama play Auburn, or Texas A&M take the field while you're heating up barbecue and eating chicken wings and talking cash shit about how your team is gonna whoop that ass this year. That's culture. That's culture. That's tradition. That's memory. That's family. That's Southern culture. Matter of fact, Southern culture is American culture. And this idea is going to fail. Because see, Black people are emotionally connected to these schools and these teams, and in a way that these, dumbass NAACP, Washington, D.C., New York City types, you just don't understand. And I already said that the minute somebody from Baton Rouge sees Southern University or LSU or the human jukebox, all that goddamn boycott talk is going to go out the window. The minute somebody's nephew, cousin, godson, former UA football teammate signs with Georgia, Alabama, Texas, or Florida, Louisiana, everybody going to be glued to the TV supporting them. They're going to pack up the RV and ride out I-10, I-20 hustling for the tailgate at the stadium parking lot. They might not even go into the game, but they'll be in that parking lot. Now, for you idiots who want to compare this to the Target boycott, you need to stop. First of all, Target is not deeply ingrained in everyday Black American life. We don't train every day to go shop in Target. Okay? We're not round. Look, just the average Black American is probably at Walmart anyway, long before they had Target. I mean, these days, hell, half the country orders everything via Amazon anyway, because nobody feels like driving in the parking lot and standing in lines and dealing with you crazy ass people in public. And all the road rage, all you got to do is sit at home on your iPhone and click a few buttons. You get the same stuff delivered to your front door in 2 days. And if you got that Walmart premium, it'd be there this afternoon. And that's why this whole Target protest boycott is different. People don't emotionally need Target. People down south absolutely love football and basketball. And that connection is emotional, cultural, is regional, is generational. You're not going to break that with a press release and some hashtag and some random TikTok video. We ain't watching TikTok. And here's another reason goddamn boycott don't make no goddamn sense. Nobody even knows if the political result the NAACP is predicting is actually going to happen. You're acting like if Black districts are redrawn, Black political power automatically disappears forever. And that's not necessarily true. Have we considered maybe what could possibly happen is that white politicians in those newly drawn districts will now have to say, we might have to compete for these Black votes. We can't really ignore them. If a district becomes 20%, 17%, 21% Black, that Black population can become the swing vote. That means politicians who didn't care about Black voters, who took them for granted, them black-faced politicians, the ones, Black people in high places, right? We won't get that experience anymore. Now, these white politicians are going to have to come earn the Black vote. Somebody type tangibles in the chat room. They're going to have to come with the tangibles. We're no longer giving our votes away for free. Now, it was a time, if you Black, we vote for you. But since both of y'all white, what you got? You see? Why haven't they said that? The reason why they haven't said that is because their focus is on making sure these raggedy Black politicians keep their job. But the idea that Black people only have power when we're packed into one district and forced to support one Black politician or another Black politician, that's not even true anymore. We've had Black politicians for decades. We've had Black mayors. We've had Black city councils, Black state representatives, Black members of Congress. But has any of that solved our issues, having Black Black faces in high places? I'm just asking you, has any of that solved any issues? Huh? It's a lot of cities run by Black politicians. Where's Philly at? Where's Chicago? What about LA? To me, I'm just going to say to me, somebody type to me, it seems that Black politicians ignore Black voters and take us for granted. That's what it seemed like to me. I might be wrong. What do y'all say? Let me know in the comments section. See, again, the real issue, the reason that these folks are in alarm is because we have black faces in high places. Okay? That's what they're concerned about. It's whether but my concern is whether our actual needs are being met by these politicians. And the politicians of any color suddenly realize black voters are now the deciding factor in these mixed districts, then they'll finally have to compete for the black vote and black support instead of assuming they automatically gonna get it. And that's the political experiment. That's what this is. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But what I do know is this: I don't want some young black man with the opportunity of a lifetime to gamble his future on this damn political experiment. I don't want some young brother risking his scholarship and his NIL opportunities and exposure and draft position or professional future because somebody emotionally manipulated his mama, his single mother, who's loyal to the Democrat Party, who think that makes her black. Because if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Isn't that what Biden said? His mama then ends up convincing him into helping some sorry-ass politician keep his job. And if you're a black mother, you got a gifted, black, talented child, you need to hear this clearly. I want y'all to listen to me. Do what's best for your child financially and professionally. Don't let anybody guilt you into steering your son away from the best opportunity available to him because of some political gains. These people don't care about you. That young man has one shot to change his life and your life. And that financial trajectory of your family, he can do that. Don't let somebody sitting in the office in DC or New York or San Francisco or Chicago convince you to throw away his career for a temporary political strategy that's not going to work. You all have sacrificed too much. And honestly, our ancestors didn't fight and die so black people could walk away from generational opportunity. They fought so we could finally have access to that opportunity. They fought so these young black men could make this money legally, build wealth legally, support their families legally, open doors that previous generations never had access to legally. So don't let these slick politicians use you or your child. Don't let anybody convince you that throwing away life-changing opportunity for politics is somehow noble. Because if you're willing to walk away from that opportunity without a guarantee, you're not making a sacrifice. You're making a mistake. This is Uncle D. I love you all. God bless you. As I always say at this time, I'm out.
In the Spurling podcast, hit the like button, subscribe.